This is the Daily Boom, and we are live. Today on Thursday, February 24, 24th of 2022, 2022. This is Jose JG, and welcome to the Boom.
Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Woo! Oh, hell yeah. Alright, let's see if this thing works. Oh, yeah, it works beautiful. First, what we have in the background as a sound. Yeah, that's a washing machine. Very close. But I want to give a shout out to the squeaky earth, which is populated by frog. The frog family is here. And this is for they like the ride, so I gotta give them the ride every once in a while. Shout out to the Froggy family who lives in Squeaky Earth now. It's a lazy eye frog goes mobbit mobbit. Mama frog goes mobbit mobbit. Baby frog goes mobbit mobbit. There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody being here. If you made it this early in the live show, please hit that like button under this video. Make sure that the bell notification icon is on, and that you are subscribed to the channel. Share the show. You must be subscribed if you're typing in the YouTube chat box. So make sure that the bell is on and share the show with your friends and family. And then there's a few ways that you can support, and I hope that you do support this channel via PayPal, Super Chat, or becoming a membership. There's also an Amazon wish list on the description box. Check it out. There's a couple things we need for the laptop to make the show go smoother. So if you're interested, hit me up. Share the show. I'm going to throw a link of the live show in a little bit in another Discord servers. So if you are in other Discord servers, throw a link out there and send them over here. The boss, the man, a troll god, is in the chat box by the name of John Hansen, the boss man. Hey, John Hansen. Today I'm gonna do the first drawing. It belongs to the other man, the other boss man, troll god, Howard Moore, aka Left Lane. I'm gonna do that drawing today, live here, and he got another drawing for 1 month. You as well. Yeah, within a month, you get 2 drawings of your choosing. You tell me what you want. You can send me a direct message on Discord. You can send me a picture, a photograph of a pet that you have, of a character, a person, a cartoon character, anime, a video game character, an old school, superhero, anything that you want me to draw is unlimited power, Now, don't you come in and say, like, I want a picture with all the Avengers, like I don't know, 20, 30, 40. I want all the X-Men in a collage. Like this picture, you send me a gigantic thing to do. I mean, that's a little bit impossible. I can do it, but it's going to be, it's not going to be that good. But I'm game into do into attempting to do anything. That's the task, and I will try to accomplish. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you Chike and 11 Chimp on the Discord server, and thank you in the YouTube chat to Steve, Johnny M, Kuso, Martin, Fred Bailey, Anna, Farmer's Boy, and John Hansen. What was I gonna say? Anamorphic Man. I saw it. Kuso shared some beautiful pictures of Puerto Rico in YouTube, in the Daily Boom. Go check it out. I'm gonna share those in a minute. I just want to leave the camera on for a few minutes while we get the show going, and then we'll switch to screen share. And shout out to Mass Mushrooms who joined. How you doing, gentlemen?
I'm still getting set up.
Good, good. Is the background noise really bad at the washing machine? A little bit.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
Nope.
A little bit of a bang. Okay, that's good. But if I squeak the earth, you hear it.
I think the frogs will freak out if you spin the earth right now.
No, they'll be all right. So you watch out your ears. Careful with your ears. You heard that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, good.
The best
So
sound
it's-
in the whole world, actually. You know.
So it's not cutting all the sound, it just cuts kind of a, because that sound is not really loud. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. Washing machine is close to me here. Shout out to JP Jr. I'm glad you found the channel. I think he found me via Witsit live stream earlier. Boom. Responsible trolling is okay, guys.
Yes. The man himself has told us so.
Yeah, the man himself telling us.
So must be true.
I added that to the trailer in the live stream. Seen that?
Yeah.
He was like, responsible trolling is okay, and then he was thinking like, is that right? That's good.
Oh dear. Not bad.
See how quick I was? That happened. He said responsible trolling is okay. And 5 minutes from that point that he said it, it's already in the intro on my videos. And it's already as a spoiler over here in the Discord server. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Gotta be first. The Bada Boom! R.I.P. Scratch Perry. Scratch Perry. Doesn't ring any bells.
No.
All right.
How's weather down in Florida?
Weather is beautiful, man. It's in the warmer side. It's not hot, but it's on the warmer side. It's still breathable. It's not, sweat in this weather. It's like, I say, off the top of my head, it feels like 72 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's good.
Yeah, we got another cold Arctic blast here in Texas the last couple of days.
Last night, was it last night? It got a little fresh. I was off. 79 degrees Fahrenheit over here in Florida.
Oh.
That's
41.
That's 26 Celsius.
Do you do that Celsius stuff, do you?
No, but I don't do Celsius. But in Google, you can click the C, so it tells you between Fahrenheit and Celsius. I wouldn't know it from the top of my head. I don't know the conversion.
Well, I'll tell you, I came up with a great idea for global warming, how to fix global warming. Change the temperatures to Celsius. Cut it in half just about.
There you go. See? That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but that doesn't work when you already use Celsius.
Well, there has to be one guy in the crowd that doesn't get it.
Look, I think there's pretty much one country in the entire world that doesn't use Celsius.
What country? United States of
Yes.
America.
Everybody else has gone metric or SI except the States, which is why
Yeah.
you still work in sort of feet and inches and pounds and ounces, and
Yeah.
nobody else does.
Oh well.
Everybody else is right.
I'm sure there might be one or two other countries, but I think the US is pretty much the last holdout.
Well, yeah, it's like the inches. The whole. When I was over in Japan, they have inches, but they're different than our inches. I'm like, how come does that make? So I actually I bought one of the tape measures just so I could show people later in my life. Going, yeah, because if you measure with it, it's like, oh, it's inches, but then it didn't come out right. And you're like, what? And then somebody said, their inches are not our inches. And I was like, what? I mean, inches are. Yes, that's weird. In Japan, but only in Japan. I know so far.
Your gallon isn't the same as our gallon. I mean, our feet and inches are all the same, but our gallon is 4.5 liters. The American gallon is 3.8 or something. It's smaller.
Yeah.
You'd think once you've come up with a unit, stick to it. Stick to its definition at the very least. But yeah, I guess a lot of it's historical.
That's how we do it over here.
Yeah, but see, that's why the rest of the world has gone to SI measurement. So a kilometre is a kilometre, no matter which country you're in.
But at least, because my grandpa told me in Puerto Rico before, it was measured by arm lengths and fingers and and all that, like arm lengths from the elbow to the tip of the fingers, then from the thumb to the thing, and I don't know, just different sizes with the arm. Like, let me get a quarter of a loaf of bread or whatever. All right, so they go like pa pa, and they they measure with the hand. There you go, cut it.
I was taught to know what my measurements were, my body parts. Like your foot fits in between your elbow and your wrist.
Yeah, they say for the waist. They say the waist value is from the elbow to the fist, to the closed fist. The closed fist. And here, if you button the pants, if you're buying pants and you got them buttoned, you put it inside the waist area. Yeah. And if it's too tight, it's gonna be tight to you. It's gotta be loosen up, a little bit, kind of barely touch your punch. And if it's too open that it just falls out, it's gonna be too big for you. It works for me. I don't know, because I got kind of a big belly, so I said so. I'm glad that I attempted this now and it works. But what if when I was skinny, then the pants and they would be too big? I don't know, man. It's a tricky one.
Aren't horses measured by hands?
Yes. Traditionally, a horse's height, which I believe is to its shoulder blade, is measured in hands.
Mm.
But that will no doubt that will be a hand is 4 inches. There you go.
A hand? What is a hand? From where to where?
4 fingers. Huh?
I think it was from your. I think if you spread your fingers out, I think it was approximately from the tip of your thumb to the tip of your little finger.
Okay.
But this is going back a long time, as the root of a lot of these measurements are, and I think it's been standardised since. So now when they say, if you say, oh, it's so many hands high, well, each hand is 4 inches, so you're basically giving multiples of 4 inches.
And that's who was that? Da Vinci, right? Leonardo da Vinci is the kind of one of the oldest known to measure with body parts measurements.
Yes. He studied anatomy an awful lot. If you look at some of his, I think it was Da Vinci who drew the Vitruvian Man with the guy who's got his arms and legs spread out inside a circle. Yeah, he really did go in for anatomy and measurements of body parts and all sorts of things. I think when you look at some of his art and his sculptures, that's probably why they're so accurate.
I think that still works for height. Like, you open arms from your flicking, the longest finger, flick finger, from tip of the finger to tip of the finger. Just open your arms really wide. Put one arm in the ground, the tip of the finger in the ground, then open it up, like spread around in the wall, and just wherever that finger points, just do a mark, and that's your height from the tip of the open arms. It works for me. I did it like last week. So like, how high I am. Instead of measuring with a measuring tape, I go like, I mark with my open arms, and then I stand in there. I put a little ruler in the line, and I stand in there, and it's like just barely touching the top of my head. And then you can throw a measuring tape. Try that, and let me know.
I've got a measuring tape here, and I'm just going to spread my arms right now. And that comes up with
your height. Hopefully, you're very close, within a centimeter.
It's come up with 5'8" and a bit, and I'm 5'10". So yeah, it's not far out at all.
All right.
And along for the fact I'm actually holding the tape measure in one hand, it probably is a bit closer than that. Yeah, that works.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the same thing for if I'm pulling wire or if I'm doing rope or wire measurement. I'll just run it up through my hands certain many times. And I know that that's each time is a certain length.
Yep.
So you don't have to try to measure out. Yeah.
Nice.
And they say that you can use your hands, which I've done, to get the degrees. If you try to find how far off the sun is off the horizon, or you use your fingers and your hands for that.
Yeah, there's something to do with the measuring the stars with the fingers,
Yeah.
The separation of your fingers, and it depends on how far the arm is to your face, and then or closer, and then that's the measurement of the stars and shit like that. Interesting skills to have. Old school navigators, I guess, right? They need all that shit. Left lane, Bossman, what's up, brother? How you doing? All is good.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
All is good. Just starting the show over here, relaxing the download. Hopefully, it'll pick up a little bit of dirt along the way.
Yeah, probably will. Yeah, last night I finally got parked. I came through all the storms in Oklahoma City and Arkansas. Long ass day. But anyway, my main point for going on there was to try to entice any flat earther to hold Nathan Oakley to his word about they claim to be sextant experts, him and 10th Man and QE, and I don't understand why the flat earthers aren't putting the pressure on that crew to actually produce, a demonstration of showing how they can plot their location on their flat earth with their flat earth math. And, all I got was excuses and MC Toon hasn't shown anything and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't understand why they don't hold the flat earth to their claims.
So did you met some people face to face? What are you telling me?
No, it was on Geos.
All right. Yeah, there's a interesting group over there, right? I mean, I don't know who is in there. I have heard, some people mention.
Yeah, it's a pretty diverse bunch. And Geo really makes it. I mean, Geo and I's views are as far apart as you can get, but we try to exercise respect and keep the insults at a minimum and things like that. So, it makes for a pretty interesting conversation a lot of the time. Sometimes it gets crazy like it does everywhere else. But, we got Bandsaw Bandit that hangs out over there, and everybody likes Bandsaw. He's a great guy, and, we have a good time over there.
But I got now the yard cleaning crew is around. So might be a little bit of a hot mic on and off. I'll try to stay on mute.
Yes, I've seen that. All the flat earthers have been saying, "Oh yes, Sextant proves flat Earth. Sextant proves flat Earth." Now MC Toon has put a proper challenge up. None of them want to touch it with a barge pole. None of them. They're all coming up with excuses as to why they're not taking up his challenge. quite something to watch.
I wouldn't want to get on a boat with them. With their
No.
to let them use it. Yeah, I wouldn't. You get lost for a long. It'd be like the Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, that's a horrible thought. Yeah, they'll talk the talk, but that's all they've got. Oh yeah, you know, you need it can only work on the flat Earth because you need a flat surface. What? No. How to people on aircraft use sextants? How do astronauts use sextants?
I was a Boy Scout when I was really young, and I actually got to the point where I was an Eagle Scout. And my dad, for my 16th birthday, he got me a really nice sextant. I
Cool.
bought another one since then, but the first one was it's one of the really old one. Came in a little wooden case and everything, and I had to, there was times that they would take us out and drop us in the middle of nowhere, and we'd go to Philmont every year, which is in Four Corners, New Mexico area, and we had no food, we couldn't have a tent. We were a survival troop, and we had to figure out. They dropped us here and said, "This is where you need to get to. See you when you get there." That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to do a similar thing in Army cadets. They'd throw us in the back of an army truck and just drive us for miles and miles, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. And all we'd have is a map and a compass, and they'd kick us out and say, right, make your way back.
We were allowed to have a watch.
You had to work out where you were and find your position on the map.
Announce to left lane. I'm gonna be doing that drawing today. And I take my time because it's I want to do it just right. So I'm gonna do, as the show is live, I'm gonna do as much as I can. Hopefully, I'm able to finish it before the show ends. But if I don't finish it during the show, I'll finish it, offline because I gotta go. I gotta, my last visit to my parents after the show in a few hours, and then maybe tomorrow. As soon as I finish it, you will have the first picture, and then we'll show it to the audience and all that, and then we'll exchange information so I can mail it to you. It's gonna be good.
Oh, that'll be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Jose. And take your time on it. Don't.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush it. I want to do it right.
No, I'm sure it'll be awesome, just like the rest of them.
Cool. Yep, excellent. And I got the idea in my mind, like, man, I'm gonna start with this character, and then I gotta do, once I do the first one and I loosen up a little bit, I'll speed up a little bit more. But I need, because I'm just after many years. I used to draw a lot when I was a teenager and younger, but it's been so many years, that I've been drawing a couple stuff in here, but I've just getting the skills back, and this, it's a little different to draw faces and try to make it look like what they are. Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's gonna take me time.
Well, it really is tricky, and I was really impressed by the Einstein drawing you did. That was a really good image.
That was nice.
I was happy with that. Yeah, I was happy with the the last result, bro. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen Jar Jar and Nathan Oakley in the same room at the same time? Oh, Jar Jar Binks. Shout out to Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, God. I'm not sure which is more annoying.
I'm not sure where the insult's at.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
I'm pretty mad about that.
Anybody went and subscribed to the tarot reader lady yesterday? That I played that video.
No.
I forgot how many subs she had before the show, because I think she had like, I don't know, 17 or something like that. She's like in the high 20s now. Subscribers, she probably cut up a few people from here.
Yeah, she hadn't got that many, had she? Bless her.
But it was funny. It was funny stuff to look at it. Maybe one day she'll be like super famous,
Are your parents still around?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yesterday I spent all afternoon with them. I got there, really happy. My dad like can't find the damn movie that we start watching in your place. We start watching a movie here, and then that was the time that my sister came in, my sisters came in, and whatever, and we just hanging out, and that was the time that I said, all right, we're gonna go back to. They're gonna go back to my sisters over here. So they left home, and he texted me like, "What's the name of that movie we're watching?" And it's the movie Unhinged with Russell Crowe, the last one he did, like a road rage movie, really good movie. And we watched it like halfway. He said like that was really good. I want to watch the end, but I can't find it. I said that's on Amazon Prime. And he asked my sister. She said like, "Damn, I'm screwed. Like she doesn't have Amazon Prime." I said, "Ah, we're gonna have to watch it another time." So yesterday I got there. First thing he told me like, "We're gonna watch the end of the movie, right?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So that's the first thing I did. Sat down with him. We watched the movie. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a good movie." He was happy. Hanging out with my mom. I had $5 in cash. He texted me earlier. He just said like, "If you come in, you gotta buy me a couple scratch of tickets." I said, "Let me see what I can do." And I'm digging around. I said like, "Yeah, I got $5. Thanks God." So I bought me two little $2 scratch off and a $1. She just gets so happy, like a toy, like, "Yeah, we're gonna win thousands of dollars now." Taboo, they heard losers, but she was happy that she got the scratch of tickets. Hey, that's the smallest things. Some people get really satisfied, and then we just sat down, talk stories, kids running around, my nephews and nieces. It was fun times. So today I gotta go. I gotta stop by just to bring I got a digital scale because my dad feel he's just here. How do you call the thing to carry the carry bags or whatever, and he want to know if he's weight over 50 pounds. If the carriage is over 50 pounds, he got to pay
Carry-ons?
extra. The carry-ons, yeah.
Yeah.
So he got two big carry-ons because he got a bunch of shit from here, little clothing and toys from for the grandkids over there and stuff. So they were really heavy. But I said like, yeah, I'll bring my digital scale. So we just put the thing, wait a few seconds. When you pull it out, it's frozen there, whatever the weight. So that's what I got to do. Go check them out to making sure. And then they leave on Saturday early in the morning. But tomorrow I'm going to just let them, in the afternoon so they can rest and stuff. Yep. They have fun over here. Even though they got sick, all of them, everybody, my sisters, they are all sick.
Really?
They came over from Puerto Rico. Over there is very strict. The health bullshit going on, super strict. And they came over here like, yeah, everything is good and chill. Like, we can breathe now, walk around. Everybody got blasted with all kinds of shit over there. My sisters, I still went over there, visit everybody. Knock on wood. There's no wood over here. I didn't get sick, but they were good. Yeah, they made it. They made it through.
Yeah. I know you were excited about that, so
Yeah, man.
good to have family around.
Yeah, man. I take a couple. My mom like, hey, yay, and then she like, oh my God, what am I going to do when you leave? Like, and she start crying. I said, but I'm still coming in tomorrow. Whatever, we're still gonna see. We're still gonna talk. Like, no, my baby. I'm the baby of the house, bro. That's how moms are. She always been like that. In the baby, and
Yeah, mothers
yeah.
are always like that. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Doesn't matter. Surprise, like I go like my birthday next month. She said like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to be here for your birthday. I'm going leaving before. I said, it's okay. So how old are you gonna be? I said like 47. What? She was like really surprised. Like, I can't. I'm so old. She said I can't. No, I can't. I'm out of here. She's walking away. She's really laughing. She feels old when we tell her our ages. That's good.
You should lie to her. Tell you you're like 21.
Yeah. She said like, so if you're 47 and your older brother is 5 years older than you, she's like, oh my God, I don't even want to say the number because that puts me like really way up there. At least she's self-aware that they're old, That's good. Jose's old crack scale. My old crack scale. The real sickness now, man. Damn, that the weight crack in kilograms and pounds. That's a lot of crack.
Yeah, I thought they worked down at slightly more sensible levels. That's how I've heard.
All right. Look at that. Glover Mom is the baby of the house too. The baby of the family. Shout out to us, the babies. So Glover Mom is like, in one moment, it's not like I get a favorite. Nobody's my favorite, but you're my baby, so you're special. Always will be. Yeah. I guess, Now you hear the washing machine a little bit dumping water. That's not Riley taking a piss 10 feet away from me.
I don't hear that either.
Oh, you don't hear it? Okay.
Oh,
Maybe let's say there's a bunch of Rileys standing in there pissing.
oh.
And that's your headset microphone?
That would be
Multiple
a bad
Rileys, that's a
sight.
horrible thought. Oh.
That would be bad.
Oh.
That's
One's
the mic on
bad
your
enough.
headset
Don't
you're
any
using?
more than one.
So is that?
Is it the headset on your mic that you're using, or is it you got a different mic?
Oh, this is not a little Turtle Beach, the same one I've been using for a while.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Decent. The first one that I bought me to do these shows, it was the same Turtle Beach, but it was a green color. But this model, and then I I was researching because I got beat up old, and it was like so open. I used it so much that it was just sitting in my head. Anywhere I tilt my head down, it will slide out. It didn't have any grab anymore. So I had to buy me another one. There was another models, different type of little boom mic, more flexible, like a little round thingy. But because the previous one sounds so well, I just bought the same model, just different color. I say if it works the same time, I'm gonna change anything. And it's actually the cheapest one on that brand. Biggest Doug say, I am Brian, and so is my wife. Wow. What a picture that one. That's beautiful.
Hands up, all those who don't want to be crucified.
But then we got Fred Bailey. He is also Brian.
Like Green got enough Brians.
There was a few days ago. There was a before one of the shows, there was going to be a SpaceX launch, and I actually watched it before the show, and I was disappointed that it didn't show the landing. Like all the cameras were like, a no go, and then at the end, like, and there's the rocket. It's just down on the the thing in the water. There was one of those that landed on the water.
Yeah, the barge. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, successful. I said like, yeah, it was cool, the takeoff and all that shit. But then it was showing, and when they split the screen they had the split screen, and then it was laggy, and all flying, and then they zoom in. They zoom in the main rocket that was still going up. It was going to launch a bunch of Starlink satellites, and then you only had in the bottom left the information of the height and the speed. The other one was going down, but there was no visual. And then when it landed, then everybody like, yeah, we got a successful landing on there. And then they show up. Then they switch to two screens again to the one already landed there in the water.
The camera on the rocket itself showed certainly to the point where the landing legs deployed. And then I think that cut out. But I mean, we've seen it land on the barge so many times now, because there have been quite a few times when the signal hasn't cut.
All right.
I mean, they're pretty much they've got that down pat now, haven't they? I mean, they've been successfully reusing these things for quite some time now. I mean, some of these have been launched 10 times.
All right, let me go get the. I'm gonna go get the materials to the drawing, and I'm gonna screen share to have something in the background. In the meanwhile, and then when I start I'll turn the camera on every once in a while and show you guys over here on the Discord of the progress, and then we'll show every once in a while the YouTube. But we're gonna have, because if anybody got an image or something to share, we will be ready to give you guys that. Let me see. A few clicks away.
Yeah, I get me a new headset. My cup of noodles and fork isn't working anymore.
All right, that's up on screen. I'm gonna be away from the keyboard for like 2 minutes to get the ingredients, the materials, and then I'll be back. So if there's silence, let it be silence. If you guys, talk among yourself, please.
Did you just say ingredients?
Well,
There's
pad of
ingredients.
paper and some crayons.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, excuse me.
So SpaceX going to try to catch one of their rockets when it comes back? Is that what I've been reading?
Hey, what?
They got part of their launch pad is like a little hand, or like a hand to grab.
Yes, right. This dirty great big rocket they've been building, when it comes back down and lands, as I understand it, it doesn't actually have landing legs. Now, when we watch the SpaceX first stage come back down, it's got 3 landing legs that deploy. This thing hasn't. So I think when it comes back down to land, what it's actually going to do is going to come back down, and these 2 arms will basically suspend it. I believe that's how it's supposed to work, but of course they haven't actually tested that bit out yet.
Yeah,
So
strangest stuff, man.
So they've got this tower with the 2 arms to help assemble it all, but I think the intention is it's also supposed to catch this rocket after it's launched and when it comes back down.
That's
Because I don't think it's got any landing gear.
But doesn't the little fins help steer it when it's coming back down on the current models?
I'm not sure whether those fins actually move. And looking at it, I would have thought they'd have to be quite strong, because that's what these 2 arms are going to catch it with, aren't they? It's going to catch those fins. So they must be structurally quite something. So I can't see how they'd also be able to pivot, unless the whole fin pivots like the stabilators on the back of some US fighters, where the whole tail planes move. And whether once it's coming back down and it's nearly there, they can lock in place. I don't know. I've not really looked into it, but yeah, that's how it's supposed to catch it.
I thought they were shooting off of them. They were stationary, but the pressure was being bounced between the 3. I don't know.
I don't know.
He gives his people so much leeway of coming up with ideas, and it's pretty amazing.
It is, but at the same time, this is the same guy who also tries to punt super fast underground tunnels, which are a complete no-no.
I understand, yeah.
Super duper robots, and all it was a bloke in a skin tight suit dancing around on stage. So yeah, at least half of his ideas are completely crackpot and will never happen. But having said that, SpaceX seems to work.
Yeah, and people used to say that about there was a lot of things, but they can't work right off the bat. Nothing ever does. But a lot of people seem to expect them to have to. I know.
Oh yeah,
I got one of his cars. I'm waiting for the truck if I'm still alive by the time it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you go back and watch the early SpaceX stuff, these Falcon 9 rockets, when they were testing them out. I mean, yeah, they had so many failures, particularly when they were full size and trying to get them to land. There is a YouTube video that's a compilation of all the failures of them trying to land a Falcon 9 out on the barge at sea. Yeah, it took them a lot of goes.
The same thing for the Apollo and for the Mercury, and
Yeah, all of them.
You
All
know,
of them had that, and that, of course, is why you test and test and test.
I've been watching a couple of these couple of videos of amateur rockets. And some,
Yes.
some of these things are pretty damn big, and they have some pretty scary mess ups too, man. Because people standing right there near some of them, and they just go up, and all of a sudden they just start spinning around and coming back down, and like, whoa.
On screen right now, I got a series of pictures that I'm gonna just leave in the background, taken by Q Dog. That's Kuso PR1 on YouTube chat box. These pictures are from Puerto Rico in Coco Beach in Rio Grande. Coco Beach in Rio Grande, Puerto Rico. Shout out to
You were on flip flop.
Kuso, he took these pictures. No, it's JG Gary, JG Jose Gary. I'm sharing the screen. The flip flop screen is sharing the main, Streamlabs just for flip flop is sharing Streamlabs for JG Jose Gary to watch, but you guys don't have to watch flip flop. Jose JG Gary is what's going on here live, I just making sure that the Streamlabs is smooth and not dropping frames and shit like that on the other computer. But yeah, these pictures are really cool from Rio Grande, Puerto Rico. So that rainbow.
Looks very nice.
And these are high quality pictures. Like you can zoom in really far on this one.
Surf's up.
I like that, palm trees all bendy like that. It's all over the place, man. We got this one, just the open water, the rainbow still there. And then we got this one with the contrast and the clouds and the rainbow. Really cool.
Yeah.
A little bit of sky colors on the palm trees. It's really, really cool. Beautiful stuff.
Looks a bit like Hotel California.
It is, yeah.
Palm or coconut?
They are coconut palm trees.
Can you climb them? Have you ever climbed the tree?
I don't know, but people do. I don't. I was a tree climber, but no palm trees. They were really too high. It always scared me. It was a different game for me. And I climbed trees till I was like maybe 16 or 17. And then I saw a guy falling off a tree and he got busted. Oh yeah, he got busted. I said, fuck no, man. And he was good. One of the best climbers in my hometown. I said, yeah, I'm doing it no more. I still climb the trees, but just, I don't know, maybe up to 2 stories high. I say, if I fall, it's less chance for me to die. I'm gonna break some bones, but going all up higher than 2-story building, super high trees was a fuck no.
That happens when you get older too. You don't want to go up very high.
Yeah.
Now just going up a curve kind of scares me sometimes.
Right. All right, I got you guys, the audience probably don't see it, but I got my equipment. I got this all I need for now. Just the pencil, little dark pencil sharpener, and I got my white paper. Little tough drawing papers. I like this because they're not all floppy papers. So that's what I got, and that's what I'm gonna begin to do the drawing. And I got over here. I'm not gonna show it. I just show it to Left Lane private. I did a blueprint. Well, not a blueprint, a sketch. I did a. How do you call kind of a when before you do something, you do a kind of
a draft.
A draft. Yes, I did a draft on what the picture was gonna be, and I sent it to him in a DM, and he's happy with it. I'm not gonna show the draft. No. I'm gonna just do it now. This draft. Yeah, this draft that I did is not a sketch because what I did is I Googled these people, I Googled these characters, and I put them I just open a paint, I copy and paste some of the people, and I did, the draft on the order and the orientation, what it's going to look like. But they are not drawings. Actually, one or maybe two. They're gonna be 6 people. 1, 2. One is kind of just a drawing. Then other 2 is like oil paints, like this realistic paints. But then there are 3 people that are just pictures or like real photographs or whatever. So it's gonna be tricky translated from really good photographs to paper. I'll do it somehow, man. I'll do it. I'll pull it off. I'm not gonna show the draft. I'll show the final result when it's ready. All is good. How you doing? Not working?
I'm getting ready for work.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to.
No, shit. Gotta
Who wants
work,
to work
man.
on their birthday?
Huh?
Said, who wants to go to work on their birthday?
Is it your birthday? Damn, how young you are?
21.
21? Fucking A. I was 21 like I don't know, a long time ago. Almost 30 years ago. I was 20. Yeah, I already passed through the 21 like 5 years ago, like twice. I did the second round like 5 years ago. That's good, man. That's
I'm
good.
not trying to go to work.
Hey, but yeah, do what you gotta do. Maybe
Get that money, though.
they got a little treat for you, like a little, muffin or something. With a candle. They don't do that
They
shit.
don't care about
Happy birthday, bro. Take care and have fun, man. Yeah. No, one of the neighbors is cool. Young guy.
He's 21 years old again.
21, man. Yeah, young
Oh,
guy.
That was 30 years ago. Good grief.
Yeah. He always passed for the longest time. He just walking around with an older lady, but he's got long hair. He got a little bit of a goatee, and the way he looks older than 21. So he's working with this older lady, kind of chubby. Yeah, always saying hi to me or whatever, but he never spoke to me. And then one day he go like, "What the hell you do over there every day?" I say, "I'm just here," and I just show him, just talking to random people on the internet about this and that. Oh, that's cool, man. He said like, "Yeah, I'm always working with my mom, and I always see you." I say, "Oh, your mom? Okay, all right. Nice meeting you guys." I didn't want to say like your wife or your partner or something. I didn't want to mess it up. I let him say who she was first.
That's
Smart
very,
man.
very wise and very diplomatic, yes, because it's so easy to get extremely wrong.
Oh, it will get so awkward. So
Yes, people could get very upset very quickly when you jump to conclusions.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
then he
you
always,
ask women, what do you do? Never ask a
Every
woman
time-
what she's do.
yeah. Every time he was by, he stopped by and said hi. That's cool. I showed him my drawings. When I was drawing the Einstein, he was walking by and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool, man." And I showed him the Iron Man drawing that I did. And he was all kinds of excited, like, "Oh shit, my little brother is a really big fan of Iron Man. If he see this, he's gonna go crazy." I said, "All right, it can be yours for a small price." He was laughing. Oh man. I'm gonna mute the camera and start doing this. I'm not ignoring anybody in the YouTube chat box, and just hang out, guys, in the chat, have fun. Hold on, say, "Yep, good quality paper is important." Thank you, Hold on. Yeah, Hold on knows about it. He got a physical copy of one of my drawings over there.
Thick cartridge paper, I presume, and not just a cheap pad of paper.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the best. Kenson, I think the brand is Kenson. It says watercolor aquarelle papers. I don't know. It's just hardcore paper, and it's 9 by 12 inches, little slightly bigger than the regular papers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sure I've got some somewhere.
Now you can hear the washing machine banging.
Barely.
No.
There might have been a noise in the background, but we can barely hear it.
That's it. The Kitsune Cavalier. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna sing that. Sorry.
I heard that.
You hear that? Yeah.
Yeah. That was just getting going, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, Earth is Life. You want to join and tell us about these 2 new Gotti videos? Diamond.
Oh, yes. I saw the one about perspective. Oh dear.
I need somebody today to take the lead. and take the floor and take the show like it's yours. There's somebody to do that. Who says me?
I like this last video about Gary. It was funny.
You spoke up, you threw.
Right, I'm not happy with Dora.
You're not happy with it. You're always talking.
I'm not happy with Dora. I'm not saying anything else, just in case.
Chachi.
Just read Dora's comment, Farmer Boy.
No. I'm not saying that out loud. You must be joking.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
No. My God. Earth is Life is good. Join in a bit.
Well, no need to be spoken. Reading is summoning enough.
Bollocks.
Yeah, he's always there.
Boom.
It works if you think about it as
Somebody lift the door open.
Oh.
Summoning works in mysterious ways.
Drop the fake accent, for fuck's sake.
Hey guys, how you doing?
This makes you sound even creepier than you already are. Hello,
What up,
Lemon.
Lemon? Good to hear you, brother. Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Newman. Hello, Newman.
Today's
Hello.
today's the day that I needed you. I was just saying, like, I need somebody to take charge and take this festivities somewhere, where we can make it more fun and dynamic, and I can just sit back and start doing my drawings and have fun and listening as a member of the audience. I think we got a beautiful panel now. We got Lemon Bird, Mars Mushrooms, Left Lane, Farmer's Boy, 11 Chimp, and Shike. And I will be here in case a moderator is needed. I don't think moderator is going to be needed. We're all adults and we like having fun. So, boom!
Boom.
We'll get Lemon to talk about something he hasn't talked about before.
There's so much
Any new subject. Doesn't matter. Just something new.
What were you guys talking about?
No, we're leaving it up to you. We're going to give you the floor here. But something new.
How about world news?
They got that trucker convoy up north with the Canadians, I think, but I don't really watch the news like that. Fake news.
But,
so everything that's going on, and you go to trucker convoy. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of.
Yeah,
There's another thing with Russia and Afghanistan going on too.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
you can have
Where?
a million truckers protesting now, and nobody will care.
Russia and where?
Russia.
Sorry, yeah. Ukraine. Sorry, I said Afghanistan. It's Ukraine.
Do you know why the Ukraine has been famous in the last? 1986. Do you know what famously happened in the Ukraine that's near the Belarusian border?
Would it be Chernobyl?
Yes. Do you think it's really a good idea to be fucking around with explosives and weapons in that sort of area?
No.
No.
I did a tour near there, and you don't get off the bus. You don't get off the road for sure. And the guy encounters you going crazy still. Well, this is 12 years ago, but back then.
Yeah, that happened. I believe that was April '86, and it still ain't no-go area, and will be for a long time.
It's scary too. They had binoculars, and we could see like bicycles still out, clothes still, and stuff still hanging on clotheslines. And they left like out right now. Leave everything, go.
Yeah. Watch the I think it was a 5 or 6 episode series they did about it. That's very good. That's bloody scary. Yes, that's in the Ukraine.
Shout out to Dora Unku, £2 super chat. Sorry, but no sorry. Wink. Hey, thank you, Dora Unku. Appreciate your support and thank you for summoning the lemon.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It turned out to be like $5 to do the bus tour. And there's like a 2.5 hour tour. And it's like, how's it going to keep us safe inside this crappy old bus? But and I spent $5 to put my life on the line. Great, but it's all right.
Yes, a bus trip that you can't get off until you've been there and got back again.
No, and it's like, still, I'm like, how's that going to protect you? How's a stupid old bus going to protect me from? Because they said you can't get off the bus. Don't open the windows. I'm like, okay, we won't.
I think the danger is more what's on sort of surface areas and such like. I think the air itself isn't. It's dangerous, but it's not that bad. But I think if you walked around and touched things, then it might be a bit worse.
There was no worry about me getting out of that bus at all or touching anything as far as that goes.
Yeah, I bet.
I was excited at first, and as we got closer, I started getting more like not wanting to be there anymore. But,
Hello. And everybody listening in YouTube, please leave us a like, and everybody's welcome to join on the Discord server. We are in the Daily Boom Discord server. Come in, jump in, and if you are new, you don't have any roles, let us know in the YouTube chat box or DM me, and we'll fix that up for you.
It got Bio and I talking because we're both from San Antonio area. That San Antonio is like a major target because it's got 7 bases on it in town, and 5 of them are in a perfect bombing range, and one of them even looks like a bullseye from above. Randolph Air Force Base looks like a bullseye from above. Perfect bullseye. And
I suppose when I was a kid, the Cold War was still possibly a thing, and we weren't too worried because if it kicked off, we wouldn't really know about it because we was within the stone's throw of the 2 biggest US air bases in the UK. They would most definitely have been targets.
Well, here
you just get to the point where you think, well, if it happens, there ain't fuck all we can do about it anyway. We might be far enough away to go, oh, that's a bright flash, wallop, gone.
I went online to try to find some old school desks they have in your school back in the 60s because those protected us. If we got underneath our desk, it would protect us in case of a nuclear attack. So I'm like,
duck and cover.
Yeah. You get underneath the school desk and you're safe.
Just do what Indiana Jones did and just find the lead-lined fridge. You'll be fine.
Well, as we were talking more yesterday, I was like, so I recalled the guy that I did some work for about 8 years ago, maybe, about 14 years ago. And I sold him a bunch of electronics and did some install for him and some old missile silos. He turned them into B&Bs. And so I looked him up last night and I was like, wow, he's doing pretty well for himself. He got them pretty cheap and then spent tons of money because they were full of cement or full of debris, and a lot of them were flooded with water. So once they got down to where the door was, the bus door, they'd had to find some way of getting that door open because it had been sealed for 30 years. And so it was kind of interesting. But some of these silos, and now it's like 4 or 5 of them in America that are now people live in them.
I don't know, but if I'm getting bored and I don't understand what's going on, maybe other people will feel the same. So let's try to bring something that include more people in the topic. Boom.
Yeah. Well, we try to get.
We could do that. We could always talk about the fact that Witsit Gets It has filed a motion to dismiss his case, and he has gone full sob sit and is going to very likely make himself an absentee husband if he keeps this shit up.
Oh dear. Well, that's a bit silly.
The plot thickens. I wish him luck.
He's filing for a motion to dismiss because he believes the necessity for licensing or applying for a permit is on its face a violation of the Constitution, and he's going to challenge free speech zones. So essentially, he's just going to get the ever-loving crap kicked out of him in a court system. And he also filed a motion against a judge.
Witsit is a smart person. You never know how these things go on.
Very high IQ.
What's it really get to?
We'll see.
Oh yeah, he's well into double
even lawyers who are the best in their fields don't tap themselves to be their own lawyer.
No.
So he's gonna defend himself too, right? Wow.
Yep.
Tell him not to bend over for the soap.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
That's why you have soap on a rope.
Oh. If there's what is it, maximum time that you can spend in jail for contempt of court is what, 28 days? Yeah, he'll be okay.
Did you say he's representing himself?
Oh yes.
Oh my!
He's probably gonna
Or at least
slap
that's
on
the
a wrist.
impression he gave. Hey, Blue, welcome in.
What he says on Discord and what he says on in the courtroom are two different things.
Yeah.
There's another way of saying that, Brian. Man that represents himself in court has got a fool for a client.
And a fool for a lawyer.
And a lawyer.
Yeah.
I did that one time when I was like 16. I got my first traffic ticket. And they got me for. I knew there was a policeman up there. I was trying to check my new radar detector out, and it worked. But I didn't stop long enough at the stop sign. Stop long enough. So my brother tells me, "Well, take a ball in court, throw the ball in the air, and ask the judge, how did it stop before it came back down again?" Well, I got slapped on the face there by the judge. He's like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard anybody say." Just pay the fine. I'm like, okay, bye. I thought it was all smart. Throw the ball in the air. It's got to stop before it comes back down.
Here's a piece of news. QAnon has just come out against the flat Earth. Flat Earthers are nut jobs. Yeah, these are guys that believe that John F. Kennedy is coming back to life, but they draw the line at flat Earth. Don't never go full Riri.
Oh dear.
Blasphemy.
I think my Discord may be bugged. About half of you aren't actually showing that you're talking when I can hear you on the live stream. Let me fix that.
Yeah, go out and come back in. Blasphemy, the victimless crime.
Yeah, my Discord. All I did was open my Discord, and it opened up with me on Jose's stream. I didn't even have to click it or anything.
We have the focus. I think they got the new focus thing set up where you can have it be if there's something you are interested in doing, watching, and it will pop into that.
All right. Ooh.
On the PC version, I don't know about the others.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching on YouTube, and then I opened my Discord, and it put me right in the panel. It's weird.
Several things have been acting strange since that last Windows update.
Yeah, but maybe also when you close the computer or the phone and if you don't hang up the call, like when I don't hang up the call on Discord and I just close the app. When I open the app, it will throw me in the room that I was previously. I gotta hang up the call before I close the Discord.
What Jose is saying is that when we turn ours off, make sure we turn ourselves off on Jose's channel. That way we'll come right back.
It's all good. Let me see, what is this? Do Gary, man Gary, he shared a link to a YouTube clip. Let me share that with you guys. It's a 30 seconds video. I'm sharing the screen in the JG Jose Gary account. So if you want to watch it, make sure you got it there. And 37 seconds. Here we go.
Buena video.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That was great.
Good Lord.
Especially like the get any girl you like part.
The video that we just watched, the link is on YouTube. Boom.
More choke, more choke.
Oh, and before I mute myself,
Yeah, I think that pretty well summed it up.
Yep. Well, yeah, I think he said everything he needed to say.
Except more coherently than usual.
This is true. Oh, no, sorry. Right. That's right.
Oh, by the way, Jose, John Bernhard's has been in gyms, and he's incredible.
Cut off.
Yeah, cut off. John Bernard's is in gyms. And I bet he's begging to get back in Jose's.
Jesus, wait, no.
In all actuality, he thinks that he and Jose are actually pretty cool, and thinks, oh, Jose just keeps me out to continue a joke that we have.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I posted a video about what happens when you have a Flurf pilot. You should play that, Jose. It's only a few seconds.
Oh, he already did that.
yeah, I played that.
I have a different one that I made a year ago.
Longer, the same thing. I don't
No,
know.
it's completely different. Just a few seconds. I put it in uncensored.
All right. Let's see what we got. Here we go. And he's going to be playing now. Oh, 16 seconds. It's a short one. You can play it twice. Oh, hold on.
Hello.
Hold on. I got the Brian sickness. Here we go. We're going to play now.
Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. This is your captain speaking. I have just completed and mastered.
That's beautiful stuff. I gotta go.
Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. This is your captain speaking. I have just completed and mastered. Hello, flat earth.
Something similar happens when a Flurf uses a sextant.
Have we ever seen a Flurf using a sextant?
I thought that the ancients were geocentric, if not flat, based off of all their depictions. It seems like the globe came along later and kind of tried to rewrite history a little bit.
No.
Magellan knew it was a sphere. Columbus knew it was a sphere.
I think
the
at
ancient
best they knew to go in a circle, but you could go in a circle on a flat surface around the North Pole center.
Except they didn't.
When you're trying to ferret out falsehood like this, it's important to ask what a thing is in and of itself without too much extras added on or tagged onto it. The very least, you're going in a circle on a flat plane and or a globe. That's all.
Still not caught on the other one.
this is y'all's show today, guys. I'm gonna be like I'm like doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm happy. We are live. All the world is watching. So boom.
Yeah, why haven't we seen that flat Earth sextant demonstration yet? One that uses flat Earth trigonometry.
Yeah, I like I was saying at the beginning of the show, Blue. I'm calling for flat earthers to call out Nathan Oakley and 10th Man and QE for a demonstration. They're making the definitive claim, but they won't demonstrate it. And if I were a flat earther, I would be putting the pressure on them to show me how it works. And I can't get anybody to get on board with that.
No need to reinvent the wheel. We just take all the normie science and absorb it into the flat Earth.
Yeah, but they're claiming that it doesn't work the way that it's professed to work, and they're making a claim. They need to show their claim. They need to demonstrate it.
Just show the math. I mean, you say it's just triangles. Show it to us.
Mm.
Yeah, it's that easy apparently. Just stop talking about it and show us.
Seems simple enough to me.
Well, Lemon, what do you say?
I don't see an issue. I think we can just absorb it into the flat Earth. It's
So
more
you
a
take charge
reinterpretation of
on
what
this?
we thought was happening before.
What do you mean?
Yeah, just more claims you can't demonstrate.
So you gonna be our guy, our go person to get them to do this, like really soon, but today or tomorrow, next day. Normally you can't stop talking.
Let me read
The
this one
glue
comment.
is, straight line assumptions. Either you draw an imaginary straight line in space and imagine that it goes tangent to a ball, or you just go with the flat land and go from there.
Again, that's just imagining. That's not doing anything. We can't even get flat earthers to do an Eratosthenes. They just want to argue whether he existed or not.
Hey, I got
assumes too.
I got a clip over here. It's 8 seconds. So please watch the screen share because sound and view is essential. I mean, to watch this is essential because look at this. Look at this beautiful creature. Looks like coming out of a history book. Look at this creature. Damn, I call you creature. This is Hold On, and Hold On says.
No.
Chat, hold on.
No.
As soon as I turn it up, it stopped.
That's awesome, brother.
No.
Oh man, I'm gonna include this somewhere in my intro, bro. Thank you.
I thought it was going to say something about fluffy kittens.
That's perfect. Concise. What do you think about how does he look, Lemon? He looks like $1,000,000, right? For real.
Which video is this?
Look at this. All right, I'm gonna throw it in the Daily Boom on Sensor. It's an 8 seconds video. Just look at this person. He looks like $1,000,000. Daily Boom Uncensored. And in YouTube chat, because I threw the link out there, guys. Click on subscribe to Hold On. That's good stuff. Guys, I'm trying to draw over here. Come on. I haven't done anything yet. I was looking at the paper. I'm sorry?
What are you drawing today?
Oh, I'm going to be drawing the Giants. The Giants which shoulders were standing on.
Oh, nice.
It's never gonna be cool.
Hello?
Hello.
What, Romania?
¿Qué?
Let me see your card real quick. I'm gonna run and grab something real fast.
Blue, can you do that? I gotta go. Can you moderate this?
Hello?
What?
What
Bebo, you're
the
hot. Bebo, you're hot micing like a mother.
Am I? I'm sorry.
By the way,
What
appreciate it.
man?
Whole
All
family.
right.
What
Someone,
bro?
All right. We didn't moderate this. Yeah, I'll moderate it.
somebody's kid.
Yeah, I think it's a kid that just joined the server, but yeah, we get no kids in here.
Blue, anything interesting coming down the pipe on your end?
Gary.
Still flat.
Gary making videos about me. It's always nice. Showing clear obstruction by water and claiming it's smushing into the water or whatever the hell they claim.
Oh, we had we had Mitchell from Australia attempt to make something interesting. He discovered that he discovered an issue with focus on a table. Claims he can hide a coin behind a flat table, and then zooms in on it, not realizing that we've been in the game long enough to know that when you change the focus, you don't even have to zoom in.
And he's got the camera too low.
Yeah, Flatsoid's another one.
So yeah, if he can zoom that, so the coin trick works on a table if you do it right. But the question for Gary 2 days ago was, can you zoom a boat back in after it's gone over the horizon? And he said, yeah, I see a video. I can zoom a boat back in after it's disappeared. I said, no. They have a problem with prepositions. I know after it's gone over the horizon, not before.
No, they'd love to get out the video of the boat whose angular size is too small to resolve at a distance that's before the horizon.
Yeah, I guess he thinks that if we're not zoomed in, then if it's unresolvable, and that's what we think. I guess he thinks that we think when it's unresolvable because we're not zoomed in, that we think it's over the horizon.
And that we don't believe in the Rayleigh criterion. So it's like a bait and switch. He'll spend 40 minutes trying to get you to concede that things shrink with size, but then he'll switch it out suddenly, and that's why things sink bottom up. It's the old bait and switch.
It's the same thing. If a 6-foot pole disappears due to angular size, so would a 6-foot zone of visual space.
Oh yeah, Lemonbird does that too.
No, this is what you need to do. Zoom out the boat until it's not resolvable in the video, but then take an image with higher resolution and see if you can see it.
So it's just like a 6-foot pole and a 6-foot visual zone of space vanishing into a vanishing point, or in this case, a vanishing line for a 6-foot zone of visual space.
What is it with you and 6 feet, Lemon?
It's just common sense.
No.
How about a 130-foot building?
Hold on. Vast population on Earth is shorter than 6 feet.
Whatever their height is above the surface. If they're 5 feet, then 5 feet of visual space. It's the same principle.
Here, 6 feet there.
It's the same principle, Chikey. Just because you get a little shorter doesn't change the principle. If a 5 foot, 6 foot, whatever foot object disappears, so would the zone of visual space of a similar size. And if you're looking at a 150-foot object and you're only 5 feet, 6 feet off the floor, whatever, the bottom will converge very quickly into a line. The rest of the object will simply have to set behind. You're only going to get even coverage up and down from the level of the eyes for 5 or 6 feet, depending on how tall you are.
Yeah. So what if we flip? You see my image that I prepared for Gary before he had to bail last time. So if you're on the top and the greater visual zone is below your eye level, which seems to you above, you should see the top, which is now the bottom, disappear first.
Hey, B-ball.
You see the drawing that I drew, Gary?
No, I didn't. Hey, B-ball.
He's not in here right now, man.
Oh, okay. I can't look at my phone. I just hit the unmute and put it back in my pocket. Okay. Well, I used his own videos to show how things compress into the center frame when you back off the zoom. Simply disappears, becomes unresolvable. It's just the limit of the optics for the angle over the surface. Yes.
Again, disappear and unresolvable.
Lemon knows. If it's unresolvable, you can't see it. If it's unresolvable, it's essentially the same as you can't
stop
see
over
it.
talking, please.
Gary.
Oh, shut up.
Unresolvable.
Let's listen to one
can't
another.
Be seen are two different things.
Well, it's the same thing, Chaiki, in that the top half of vision is unresolvable in reference to the bottom half of vision. It's like the top and bottom half of vision become one unresolvable horizon line. That's what we mean by smushing, compression. It's a lack of resolvability, basically.
Well, we have plenty. We can resolve everything else but the bottom. Why?
Because that's where all the compressed angles are, Chaiki. You make an angle from the level of the eyes up and down, and the most narrow angle is at the level of the eyes where everything appears to be coming together, smushing, compressing, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know, Lemon. I can't distinguish this obstruction from a mountain or anything else. Just because it's water, it's no difference.
Well, you have a wider angle up from the level of the eyes. The most compressed angle would be toward the level of the eyes. The widest angle would be away from the level of the eyes. So as long as the mountain is taller than this zone of lost information, compression, you can still make out a 2D image.
Well, like I said, I can't make any difference between those two. Here I don't see half the boat. There I don't see half the building. Could be the mountain, could be curvature. Looks the same to me.
We got to think about this in a new way. We need to think about how much height is represented in the angle that we're looking through. The eye will not represent anything that doesn't have symmetry.
No, I don't need to do that. If it looks the same to me, it's the same, Lemon. I don't need to make up the stories.
No, we're seeing this phenomenon where I'm talking about the way to understand it properly so that we can have more experimentation and figure out more of what's going on. The paradigm that's on the table right now from the globe side, where a hump of Earth curvature is hiding what's beyond, it's inadequate for us to go forward and figure out what's going on. We're going to need a new paradigm. I'm sorry. And this paradigm where you have these compressed visual angles forming a horizon appears to be it.
Yeah, if I see a building and at the bottom half of it missing and I see land there, then I know the land is blocking my view to the building. If I see water there, if I see water there, I know it's the water. I don't need to think about no compressed angle.
But Chaiki, how much length does that visual angle cover? If you're 6 feet off the ground, it's only covering 6 feet. So your eye can only symmetrically pair 6 feet of information. After that point where the 6 feet of information, like a 6 foot pole, vanishes, the amount of symmetrical representation stops immediately. And at that point, an object appears to be cut off bottom first very quickly.
I don't know how your eye works, but mine do not pair.
That's what the eye appears to do when you look down a hallway. It's like the top half of
No,
vision is trying to symmetrically pair
no, it
visual
doesn't.
information from the bottom.
Absolutely not. Doesn't try to pair anything. Just see what's there.
I think you guys imagine that you're levitating up into the air with no obstruction, where both halves of vision can expand outward equally with no ground in the way. That's not the way that things actually work in real life. The bottom half of vision will try to expand into a surface that's 6 feet away from the level of the eyes and make a line. The top will not do that because there's nothing in the way of the top half of vision. So the conditions aren't there for this idealized math or this idealized representation you're talking about. The conditions are there for a horizon line to form in the foreground and anything that is too tall to be symmetrically represented by the eyes to set in the background.
By the way, Lemon, we do need to actually set up a test where you put a ball in the middle of your hallway, back away from it, and see if it declines at 1 degree per however consistently.
Well, life is short, and other people have already done it with their iPhone camera.
They actually haven't. Not this.
The same principle appears to apply. You get close to the surface, and all of a sudden, the light sets.
That's not what we're talking. We're not talking about setting. We're talking about a ball high in the hallway. And Gary, you've got to get your hot mic under control, man. So we set a ball high up in the sky. We go back. We determine how much it takes to drop it by so many degrees, and then we back up that distance again and see if it goes down by the same amount of degrees. It'd be simple. You don't even have to pay for a hotel room. You could just choose a light in the hallway and go for it.
Well, that would be similar to Polaris and the ceiling of the world. If Polaris is at a constant elevation, it would be no different than a ball in the ceiling. That would demonstrate the same principle, sure.
Yeah, so that's something we've been asking of you for a long time. Have you gotten around to it yet?
I'm busy.
You're busy.
I mean, what can be more important, Lemon?
Busy for 6
Other
years.
than the
With enough
flatness of
time
the
to
Earth and
spend
getting
several
back
hours
from
each day in a
NASA?
panel.
Not much.
You're always busy when it's something that's not going to really work out for you.
Handing out red pill takes time.
Avoiding the truth is even worse.
Bringing up the red pill again. We
It's
were
hard to
recently
deny the
reminded
evidence
that
of
you
our
had no
senses,
idea how to
gentlemen.
back that one as well.
It takes an argument from authority to say, deny your senses that say that it's flat and motionless and believe something
You
else.
just told us to deny our senses. You got to imagine. We never say imagine. You know, but it says imagine is flat earthers. Can't imagine this. You can't imagine that.
Well, you need your senses to go forward and discover more discoveries.
And we don't see what you see.
We make up a lot of stuff to go with this ball, but what price do we pay? We end up giving up on ourselves and our
Again,
senses.
who's making stuff up? Who's telling to imagine? Not the,
And what do you mean we? I'm not giving up.
Not up. We pay a heavy price for this.
Yeah, be careful with your pronouns. When I don't pay any price for this, no.
Making
It's
up
called
all
pronoun
this
shifting and saying we when what you really mean is I, don't you?
Making up all this food to defend the globe.
Like what?
The 23.4 degree axial tilt that we don't see, we simply infer out of necessity for the model. Movement that we don't feel, that sort of thing.
Or reality?
Lemon, I see water in front of the ship. I tell you what I see. You start making up stuff about visual zones.
But Chaki, you're not even being consistent because flat
Yes, I am.
tables below your eyes obviously rise up toward the level of the eyes in a similar way. So you need a way to differentiate between water that is actually in the way versus a flat table, which appears to have the same behavior as it rises up, appears to rise up toward the level of the eyes and potentially obstruct what's beyond.
So I can't find any difference between them. You try to make up visual zones. I don't. I tell you what I see. I see ship. I see water in front of it. That's it.
Visual zones would behave no differently,
See?
Trikey.
You see? Who make up stuff? Me or you?
Visual zones and all the objects of a certain height within that visual zone will compress down to a vanishing point or a vanishing plane, depending on how high they are and how wide they are.
We established that your visual zones has nothing to do with vision, right?
Yeah, and we've established that visual plane is word salad or schizophasia.
Well, you could call it air. You could call it the space surrounding the object. Same thing.
And I'm still waiting to see. Gary made the claim 2 days ago that he could zoom a boat back in after it's gone over the horizon. Still waiting to see that. Not before it's gone over, but after.
Of course, you straw man everything I say. I didn't say that at all. I said, like in B-Ball's boat, if you back off the zoom, you couldn't see it. So if you zoom back in, you could bring it back. I also said, but if it's beyond that point to a point where the angle is too narrow for the optical device you use, you won't be able to resolve the bottom. Why do you always have to make up shit that I didn't say?
Yeah, once it goes
That's
over
why
the
you're an
curve.
ass. You're a complete ass.
It's recorded, my friend. I asked you a yes or no question. Can you zoom something back in after it's gone over the curve? And you said yes.
No, there is no curve. It's a matter of an angle. It's the compression angles at the vanishing zone. If it's too narrow of an angle for the optical device you're using, you won't zoom in the bottom. If it's not too narrow for the optical device you're using, you can zoom it back in, just like B-Ball's boat.
Yeah, you can zoom in.
It's all about that angle at center frame and the optical device you're using.
Okay.
You couldn't even see the damn boat. You couldn't even see the boat. A 20-foot high boat, and you couldn't see it.
You couldn't see it, but it hadn't gone behind the horizon yet.
There is no horizon the way you call it.
Got you, Gary. Now tell me.
So, and then you wonder why bottom of a building can't be seen.
Gary, you said something. Stop. Let me ask you a question.
You guys are hilarious. You straw man everything.
What will limit my optical device? What will limit my visual zone?
The angle. Your distance above the surface. The wider that angle, the farther you can see detail over the surface. The narrower that angle, the closer you are to the surface, the narrower that angle will be, and it will cut off information. You just flat out can't see it because it's cut off by your bottom half of your vision.
Flat
out. Cut off by Earth curve.
So when you answered yes to my question, you really meant no. That's why I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible.
You like to isolate one sentence and then you disregard all the sentences that accompany it. That's why I don't like you guys interrupting me when I try to finish a point, because then you'll take a little snippet out of everything I said and you'll say it's this. That's what I said. No, that's not what I said.
Okay,
well,
you
finish again. Then let's clarify.
Wait, dude, you really don't hear me?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's an issue, Gary, that you actually do make your point. Sometimes you ask questions or you just answer the question. But then when you finish the point and somebody start talking, then you go on and start talking again. That's the issue. So try not to talk over people. When you finish your point and somebody already started speaking, try not to talk over them, please.
Well, these guys like to say that you said something and they isolate one sentence out of the whole paragraph. And that's why they keep straw manning. They make shit up, and then Jose comes in and white knights for them.
Okay, let's try to be very clear then. Let's try it again. Let's try the same question 48 hours ago. Can you zoom a boat back in after it's gone behind the horizon?
If you look at the boat that B-Ball has in the video. Okay, you're interrupting. Shut up. Jose, did you take note of that?
You asked a yes or no question. Refused to answer yes or no. Yes, we took note of that.
Straight up.
That's why you guys are complete assholes. Okay, you're going to let me say it now.
As long as you start your question, as long as you start your...
No, you don't tell me how I answer a question. That's not your job.
So
you asked the question, and I have to answer it. You just want me to give one little sentence, not finish a thing, and then you'll say, "Oh, look, you just said that."
If you want to clarify afterwards, you can clarify. But if you're going to answer a yes or no question, answer yes or no first.
Or just answer it. Wait, Gary, wait. Or if you don't want to answer that yes or no, just say like, no, I'm going to answer. I'm not going to answer yes or no. This is my answer, and then you say that. But if they ask you, is 2 + 2 4, Gary, and you start this, if you start your answer by, when you look at this situation, let's put a table over here. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to interrupt you. Say, no, wait. I ask you a question. Is 2 + 2 4, yes or no? If your answer begins with, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm going to answer it this way. I'll entertain you to see. But dude, a yes or no question is answered with either a yes because of this, or no because of that, or I'm not going to answer you because of this, and I'm not going to answer you because of that. Let's try to do that. Let's try to make it more clear. So when you say, I'm not going to answer your question because of this point, we will, I hope everybody will stay back and let you answer your question. If you want to ask your question again when Gary is done, it's okay. Do I have to do this every single day? Boom.
Well, I know you like to white knife for your guys. Now, I'm not going to answer his question with a simple yes or no, because that you can't answer the question with a simple yes or no. So he can shove it up his.
Okay.
If you want an answer, I'll give you the answer. You have to let me finish and say the whole thing, because it requires an explanation of how things work. It's not a simple yes or no.
So if I got you
I can
right,
answer it.
Yeah.
The answer is no. You cannot.
There you go.
So Gary, let me understand. The
That was
only
easy.
limiting factor ever for seeing something is the angle, nothing else. Not the aperture, not anything like that, only the angle.
You're going to let me answer it without just saying yes or no? Because I'm not going to answer any simple one-word question, because it's not a one-word question or a one-word answer for your stupid
We
question.
just need to move on at this point. I mean,
Yes, it
just
is,
say
because
yes, let
I
them
asked you.
spurg, and then just explain it later. I don't know why the conversation has to stop at this point. This is ridiculous. Let's just go ahead and humor you. Say yes, so you can say whatever the hell you need to say, so he can finish his explanation. So yes, what's the point?
The point is, I asked Larry, Gary, I asked him, what is the limiting factor? And he said the angle. And I just want clarification. Angle is the only thing that's limiting your vision.
I'm just saying,
it's the angle for the optical device that's being used.
Again, I'm asking.
Obviously, okay, you interrupted. A P900 has a different resolution at the same angle that a human eye would, right? So they all have a different limit based on the angle. That's why in B-Ball's boat, with your natural eye, you can't see it. The angle's too small for the human eye. But then you zoom in on a P900, and now you can see it, right? You saw it because the angle is accessible by the P900 by increasing the focal length, decreasing the field of view. You're literally just focusing on a little small area. And that's why you got all the pixel space devoted to that area, so you can see the image better. And then you back off the zoom. It goes back to the natural view. The angle is too narrow for your eyes. It's simple.
What's the natural view of P900?
P900 isn't your natural eye. Your natural eye is your physical eyes in your head, if you have some.
Gary, if you're going to complain about people interrupting you, you have got to stop doing it every fucking time.
So what are the limiting factors of the optical device? What are the limiting factors? Tell me.
Angles.
So if P900, what angle is the limiting factor for P900?
The angle.
What angle?
This is not difficult. This is very simple.
The angle up and down from the level of the eyes.
No, up and down. A number.
Oh my gosh.
You need an angle number. Usually the angular resolution for the human eye is 0.02.
Quantified. So it's the limiting angle. What is the limiting angle? Give me
it would be
that in degrees.
0.02 degrees roughly for the human eye. But for the optic, it would vary depending on the wavelength of light.
Why is P900 different than the human eye?
Because it has a different aperture. Because
Oh,
it
good,
can
Lemon.
has
You
different
can answer.
sensors, that sort
You
of
can
thing.
answer. So you can answer, Lemon. You can say aperture. The aperture is the limiting factor.
I think
Right?
there's
Not the
the
angle.
math formula is 1.22 times the wavelength of the light that you're looking through. Light usually goes from 400 to 700 nanometers in the visual spectrum. A nanometer is like taking 1 meter and cutting it into like a billion or pieces. And so 450 of those little pieces is the thickness or the wavelength of light, basically, that you can see through. So 450 is toward the blue violet color of the visual light, and 700 is more toward the fatter bands of red light and infrared. But the light that we can see is normally within that band. So you take 1.22 times the wavelength of the color of light that you're trying to basically resolve, and divide it by the diameter of the aperture in meters. P900 is what, a 4 millimeter lens or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to get the measurements for the P900. Millimeters is like taking a meter and dividing it into 1,000 pieces, and so it'd be like 40 pieces of that for the diameter of the lens, roughly.
Lemon, why are we going to this? So we agreed it's the aperture, right? So if you get a P900 zoomed, whatever you want, and you can't see a shape, and you take a 200 millimeters telescope, you should be able to see the whole chip again, or more of it, right?
You'll be able to see some of it, but not all of it. The angle will still be too compressed in parts of the image, because the part of the image that you really need to focus on is the angle toward the level of the eyes. And that angle is still too compressed to symmetrically pair and make a 2D image.
I said more of it.
It's still too compressed, Chaiki. It's still too compressed.
Wait. So first, the limiting factor was aperture. And then when I changed aperture, you said no, it doesn't change.
Aperture and angle up and down from the level of the eyes, Chaiki. This stuff is complicated.
Complicated. So we can easily demonstrate you can't resolve something with P900 and can resolve it with a bigger aperture.
Up to a point, yes, but a horizon line will still form, Chaiki.
And yet, we won't see any of the shape, more of the shape.
A horizon line will still form. Optics have a limitation. The eye has a limitation,
Not only the horizon. That's the point. Not only it will form exactly where the eye, P900, and bigger aperture see it. It will always be the same.
There's limits to optics, Chaiki. They can only resolve so much.
What
Even
are
the
they?
most powerful optic will have a horizon line that forms. It is what it is.
What the hell are they, Lemon? That's what I'm asking.
What the hell are what?
Are the limiting
the limitations of the optic? It's limited mostly by the angle off of the surface for the optic.
The angle. So the angle is the only limiting factor. That's what you say.
That's the one that's going to make the horizon line form, Chaiki. You can get a better aperture, sure, but even your aperture is going to be limited, Chaiki. Say you need a 10-foot optic to see over the flat plane, but you're only 6 feet off the ground. Well, the angles of vision that are available for your optic are going to be limited in the 6-foot range, Chaiki. So eventually a horizon line will form because you're too close to the surface. If you need a 10-foot optic, Chaiki, up and down from the level of the eyes, but you're only 6 feet off the ground, Chaiki, your optic is not going to do any good. So your height above the limiting surface becomes the factor that you need to factor in now. And at that point, the optic becomes limited in what it can resolve within its range of height.
And now you got three.
That's just logic, Chaiki. At that point, I'd have to ask you if you're using your logic consistently. If you expect to have a 10-foot optic be available when you're only 6 feet off the ground from the level of the eyes down to the ground, it would be illogical, Chaiki, for you to expect that optic to exist when it is way beyond your height. That doesn't make sense.
We know that if we double the aperture, we double the resolution. It's very simple.
We zoom in on boats that appear to have disappeared behind a horizon line. So up to a point, Chaiki, what you say is correct.
No, not up to a point. Forever.
No, that's a fallacy. I think they call that a fallacy of composition, where what you say is true in part, Chaiki. Yes, we can zoom back in, but it's not true in whole. We cannot zoom totally back in. A horizon line will still form.
Is it gone to the horizon?
Yeah, that's the point. That it will form at the same place. It will hide the same amount of both. No matter
It will
how big
form
the
past
aperture will
both,
be,
though.
it will be the same, Lemon.
It's deceptive for you to say that it forms at the same place. That's not quite true. We've
It
zoomed
is.
in on boats that have appeared to have merged with the surface. So I think we're covered, Chaiki.
But changing the aperture.
Actually, you can see it in my
We will
video.
have,
One of my videos I posted yesterday.
we will have the same clarity with, well, we will have better resolution with a bigger aperture, but it will be clear enough with P900.
Actually, my video yesterday, all I did was drop the camera from my holding it up where I'm like a normal person taking a picture, and I dropped it down to the road level. You can literally see things being swallowed up in the center frame, disappearing, becoming unresolvable, whatever you want to call it. Just by simple, no extra zoom, nothing, just
Really?
lifting it up and down. Yep. Watched it
Really?
yesterday. Yep.
What we do that?
It's a matter of angles.
We take 1.22
Or
times
height.
the wavelength of visual light. I think a Life is Short used 550 nanometer light, which is the same as taking 550 times 10 to the negative 9th meters. When you take 10 to the negative 9th, it's the same as moving the decimal place over to the left 9 places to get a really small decimal, to get billionths of a meter or something like that. So it would be 1.22 times 550 times 10 to the negative 9th, or, divided by 10 like 8 times. And then you divide that in your calculator by the diameter of the aperture. A camera, like you said, is like 40 millimeters or something like that. The human eye is like 20 or something like that for the pupil. And that would give you roughly the mathematical generalized prediction of how much light you can resolve, basically, based off of angle. And I think it's a radian measure. I'd have to look back into it, but that gives you the angle of how far apart the objects need to be for you to resolve them as two different points, or, the point past which you just see an unresolvable horizon line, where object one, the top half of vision, just simply smashes into object two, the level of the visual zone from the level of the eyes down. These two zones of vision would be expected to merge and just become an unresolvable line, more or less, around that point, depending on the height of the object.
You used the term a couple minutes ago, a limiting surface.
Yes, your height off the surface.
That's kind of...
You're standing 6 feet tall off the surface. That would be the limit of what range is available for the eye. 6 feet of symmetry.
Are you saying the surface is limiting the vision?
Limiting the amount of angles of light that can come into your eye.
Yeah.
That's flat Earth code words for Earth curvature.
Yeah, I guess you guys are saying that you should have
How does the
something when you're only 6 feet off the ground. That's kind of absurd. You'd be expected to have 6 feet of visual information, height, and visual space that can cram symmetrically into the eye.
Lemon, how does the surface that is below the path of the light limiting anything?
It limits the angles that can come off the surface. It limits the height of the objects that can be represented by the eye symmetrically.
We're
You
not
only
talking
have
about
6
the
feet,
surface.
Chaiki. If you want to have 100 feet, you're going to have to get higher, 100 feet off the ground. That's the limit.
But
Hey,
we're
I
not
demonstrate
talking
this
about the
also in my
surface.
video.
But we're not talking about the surface. We're talking about object that is on the surface, and the light path from this object is above the surface. How does the surface limit that?
We're still talking about the same thing, Chaiki, because we're talking about the height of objects. How do we know the height of objects if we don't know how far they reach off of a surface? We're basically talking about the same thing.
No. So the object
How do you know the
is
height
on
of the object, Chaiki, without a surface for it to come out of? How do you know that you're 6 feet without being 6 feet out of the surface?
I
What
don't
you're
care
saying
about.
doesn't follow.
I don't care how tall is the object. I know it's on the ground, and any light that come off this point that where it connects to the ground must be above the ground coming to me. So how does
that doesn't make
surface
sense,
below
Jackie?
it?
That's like saying
What?
that the railroad tracks are, ramping up toward the level of the eyes and must be rising. The angles of light that are available to your eye are limited by the surface and your height above the surface. There's
What?
only so much light
That's
that can come into your eye and be resolved.
Lemon, that's what I'm asking. How is the surface that is below the light path from the object, the bottom of the object, to my eye, is limiting anything above it?
It's basically the top and bottom half of your visual scene trying to expand out, Jackie. When your visual scene, the eye tries to basically take in the world with expanding visual angles that reach out and try to touch these objects and represent them symmetrically. The more room you have to do so, the more visual information can be crammed into the eye, Chikey. But the bottom half of vision has a problem. There's a surface in the way. It's trying to expand out to get more information, but it keeps on coming up against this surface that's 6 feet away from the level of the eye. A line that's going to form.
Guys, please, everybody, please. I haven't jumped in a little while, so please give me 30 seconds. I'm going to try to stay so quiet. Unless there's a super chat or something, and I'm checking on and off. I'm really busy. I'm doing very important drawing in the background, and there's hot micing. There's people working around the place, so please. Triple Croquet with 199 super chat. Thank you very much, Triple Croquet. I really appreciate that. And a question is for Gary. Can you zoom in on the lighthouse on screen and see the bottom in the... thank you very much. It's on screen right now. I'm sharing that image, so hopefully you can see it.
Basically, as the visual angle expands out from the eye, Jackie.
In what world is your name Gary Lemon?
Oh, sorry, Gary.
There you go. I just reposted it on the Daily Boom Sensor. I'll go on mute, and I'm gonna put after that one. Then we'll look at this one, which the same question applies. Can you bring the bottom of these floors? And if Gary is MIA, I guess, Lemon, if you want to answer that. Doc, if you want to answer in behalf of Gary, go ahead.
Well, if you take a pipe, which appears to be a cylindrical circle that's hollow away from the eyes, there's visual space within the pipe that appears to converge and get smaller, even due to angular size restrictions. So if that, say, 2-inch of air and visual space in the pipe appears to get smaller, converge, merge, and disappear, then it is not too much of a stretch to say that a 6-foot zone of visual space, similar to the air in that pipe, will converge, merge, and disappear similarly. So the thing that becomes central, gentlemen, is your height above the surface and the angles that are available to the eye.
I think he asked about the lighthouse there, Lemon.
All of the things that apply to this problem are there. We can derive the solution to the problem quite easily from that point. Obviously, you only have a 6-foot zone of visual space, just like the space in the middle of that pipe. And eventually it will converge, merge, and disappear, taking all the objects that subtend that height or lower along with it, becoming a horizon line, a vanishing line, or a vanishing plane, whatever.
Uniformly.
In that picture Jose's posted, the width of that lighthouse is exactly the same. You just lose the entire bottom of it. How does that work? Can you zoom in on that right-hand picture? Bring the lighthouse back into view. That was the question.
Basically, it's diffraction limit. You're taking a ray of light like a string from the level of the eyes to that object, and a string of light from the floor, right where that object intersects the floor, and trying to pull them through the eye. When you pull these strings of light through the eye, just like a camera obscura, the angle of light between the string of light from the level of the eyes to the object, between that and the string coming from the bottom of the object where it hits the floor, is so narrow. The eye's like, I can't even tell if these two strings of light are two different strings anymore. They're just too close together. I'm going to have to drop this information, and I can no longer represent this as a 2D object. So it appears to go behind the symmetrically represented information in the foreground, aka the horizon.
I'll take that as a no. You can't.
Yeah.
We're just
And
talking about
anytime,
narrow angles, gentlemen. That's it.
anytime when you hear a sentence begin with basically, watch out. There's BS coming.
The angle between the level of the eyes to the floor is just too narrow, and no 2D representation of the object can occur anymore.
But
I'm not
the
aware
angle to
about
the
any.
object of the upper part of that even more narrow than the bottom part is now.
Let's look at this
So you're
picture.
seeing the top part, and you can't see the bottom.
Let's look at this picture together, gentlemen. You see the water ramping up to the point where you can get some symmetry. Let's say you're 6 feet off the ground. Up to that point, the eye can represent 6 feet pretty symmetrically in the top and the bottom. But after that point, a horizon line will form because you're too close to the ground. It's like the top and bottom half of your eye are demanding more information that you can't supply. After that point, the top half of your visual scene will expand. It's going to be like, I demand 20 feet of visual information to be represented symmetrically from top to bottom. I need an angle, like 10 degrees of angle, let's say. I need 10 degrees of angle to represent 20 feet of visual space. On the top, they're like, check, I can represent that. The bottom part is like, nope, I can't do that. I can only represent 6 feet. The top is going to keep on expanding outward. It's going to say, I can represent 40 feet right now. Do I have a 40 feet angle of packet of information from the level of the eye down? No, I have 6 feet. So pretty soon you're going to get a blind spot. You can't represent 40 feet of information next to 6 feet of information without getting a funhouse mirror effect in the eye, the optic, or whatever. The information is dropped. And very soon, the part of the object that towers above this very limited 6-foot zone is simply dropped. It is not represented as a 2D image anymore. And the object vanishes bottom first, just like that lighthouse, very quickly. Now, if you want symmetry again, gentlemen, you got to levitate up into the air where half of it's above the level of the eyes and half of it's below the level of the eyes. Then the eye's like, oh, okay, thank you so much. I can represent 50 feet of information in the top half of my vision. I can represent 50 feet of information in the bottom of my vision if it's a 100-foot object. Thank you. Thank you for giving me symmetry. Now I can represent this properly.
Doesn't this go back to when you said when you gave us an equation for that, and we found out that in your world you should be able to see the Statue of Liberty from about 190 miles?
Well, the math is a general description, but this general phenomenon appears to be what Life is Short and others are seeing. So it looks like we're pretty close to the mark here.
No, not really, because
symmetry is completely irrelevant.
Every time he actually takes the time to give us something that we can actually test in the form of mathematics, it doesn't really work, and then he backs it up with something else that breaks it entirely. Like where you stole the divide something or multiply it by 3600. I don't remember which one you had said. You can get how far away you'd have to go before it will disappear completely behind the Earth. But when you do that, you find that things are disappearing far, far faster than that. For someone who claims logical consistency, you have a tendency to latch onto a bunch of contradictory things and then just say, well, they apply at different times according as to you need them.
Well, we're coming out of 500 years of heliocentrism just now, gentlemen. It's going to take time. Not everything.
What sort of answer is that to
we'll work out the kinks eventually.
What sort of answer is that to you're using contradictory information?
Well, we used contradictory information about the curvature of the Earth for years and had no problem, so it's going to take some time.
So your response is...
We made up any level of woo for the globe, so I guess we'll have some time to work out the woo on the matter side as well. Unless you're so biased, you're saying only globe woo can apply.
No, Lemon, what I'm saying is your response to this was, well, we don't have to be correct because you guys have been in control longer, and then do a tu quoque by lying about what we do, what we do and don't have. That's really not effective, Lemon. That's you being a bit of a twat, as opposed to actually providing anything.
It's going to take time to get past the tu quoque, even to get past the tu globe qui. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, but flat earthers have had far more time than the globe earthers. Far, far more time. And you still have no answers.
It takes time. Optics came around at a time when we were biased toward the globe, so we tried to have refractive models that made light a string that essentially curved around the globe
No
like
one
a
has made
questionable
light a
water
string.
experiment.
That's another fucking straw man you like to say. No one's
No, that's
made light
the
a
true
fucking
man.
string.
They treat it like its path like a string.
Lemon, I'd like to ask, where is this angle measurements done in the eye and in the camera, and where those pre-processing of which data to drop or not is done?
Even that, Chaiki, is highly theoretical. We're trying to see if the image is formed on the eye itself, in the brain, on the rods, on the cones, in the world. Even that gets into different philosophical theory about how light behaves.
Lemon, cameras don't have brain.
So, Chaiki, when we say generally, Chaiki, that the eye knows the angle that's hitting it, we're talking about the generalized behavior that we see in a hallway, Chaiki.
How does it know the angle, Lemon?
I already answered that, Chaiki. Anything above the level of the eyes appears to be represented by the eye as something that ramps down. Simple.
I don't know. How does the eye know about angles?
By the way stuff ramps in the distance, Chaiki, when it goes away.
That apparent ramping, by the way, it has to do with the angular size of a particular, let's say, a standard height. If you take an object that's of that standard height off into the distance, you will note that the angular size of that object is inversely proportional. The angular height of that thing is inversely proportional to the distance to it, all of the time. However, curvature seems to take over faster than that rate. Why, Lemon?
Asymmetrical visual range, asymmetrical unevenly paired height is what's making it cut off, not a globe.
So turn your head sideways. The same thing still happens. It's not to do with the asymmetrical. It's still not related to the asymmetrical nature of your sight. It has nothing to do with your sight.
What do you think turning your head to the sideways accomplishes? Your eyes are still at a certain level above the surface, just reoriented. You have done
and it has nothing to do with your eyes.
Reorient your head, and it will still be represented to your eye, to your brain, whatever, based off of the symmetry. That's all.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the symmetry of the human eye. That's what turning your head to the side has to do. It doesn't do anything asymmetrically. Lemon, asymmetrically, the asymmetry into your eye doesn't make any difference. The eye has nothing to do with it. If I turn my head to the side, I've ruled out the asymmetrical nature of vision.
How? You just turned your head slightly differently. More or less the same packets of light at the same angle are still entering the eye with a certain angle, with a certain height, with a certain orientation. You turning your head to the side would be a difference of what, an inch? You think that that's going to dramatically affect the experiment? Try something like a mile. Maybe you have a case. As far as I can tell, you don't. You've changed it by what? An inch by simply reorienting your head?
90 degrees.
Absurd.
90 degrees, Lemon. You've changed it by 90 degrees, not an inch.
But
if it's asymmetry going into the eye, if it's asymmetry going into the eye, and I change the orientation, then I've removed the eye from the equation.
Only by an inch. That's not enough for us to even talk.
90 degrees, Lemon.
This is incredible.
And a lot of this is still experimental.
You're intentionally not listening now.
We have general theories about how the eye represents an image. From there, we just have general principles.
Which changes completely when you change your orientation.
So Lemon,
no, you
move
changed
on
it
right
by
now.
2 inches. You haven't done anything.
So Lemon, we can't move on until you acknowledge that 90 degrees and 1 inch are not the same thing in this case. Can you do that?
I'll acknowledge it because you tend to be a left-brain prig and stop the conversation unless somebody agrees with you totally. But I'm only agreeing with you for the sake of conversation. I don't actually agree with you. But sure, whatever. Yes.
That's a bigger problem than if you think 1 degree, 90 degrees is 1 inch.
All right, just a big holler to where's the image? Damn it! I'm doing the drawing in the background, and there are gonna be 6 recognized 6 people from history on science. I did the first one that was Pythagoras. There you go. Feedback on that character. I got it on screen right now. Any feedback on that? Because I just finished the second one, and this is just sketched out with like drawn, like just with like pencil. It's gonna be nice, and it's gonna have tones and little shadows. It's gonna have color on it. Any feedback? Because this second one, I'm so fucking excited to share this second character. It's really cool, and I'm just sending it with my phone. The same thing. It's just sketched out on pencil, and it's not completely finished, like not color or nothing. But I think this one is really cool. Look at that. Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? Albert Einstein. Boom. How about that?
You do all these at old age. Can you do more when they're like maybe about 6 months old?
No. I like old Einstein. It looks more like him. I think it's really cool, man. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jose.
That's what I'm talking about. Fuck yeah. So, and then now, as a full picture, this is how it is looking so far. As I say, there's going to be a quote in the top, and there's going to be six of these famous scientists out there. Oh shit, is this sideways? Damn it. No, no good. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, but carry on. I'm sitting here enjoying the discussion in the background. Let's continue doing like this. See, there's no need to yell. There's no need to be excited or super hyped to like, no, I interrupt. I answer now. Just be patient, everybody. We might get somewhere. At least we get to the audience to hear where we are coming from, and that's the importance of it. So this is what we got for right now. We got 2 and 4 more to come. There you go. I got I got this. That's 2 more underneath this ones and 2 more in the side and a quote in the top. And it's going to be color. I think it's going to be a really, really cool, good looking drawing. Howard, feedback on this so far? I mean, left lane, sorry.
No, that's good, Jose. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, I'll go mute. Hold on, I'm missing super chats. There you go. There's a super chat. Kuso, thank you very much. I told you, man, I'm like caught up on doing this, and I'm like checking around all this stuff. Thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat, Kuso PR1. He says, hey, desde Rio Grande, puedo enviar super chats. Hey, from Rio Grande, I can send super chats. Boom. Lemon and Gary stuck on one argument when all the evidence supports the sphere Earth. You gotta like to flirt. Shout out to Kuso PR1. Boom. Español responsibly.
Well, I don't understand how your eyes are 2 inches apart of that, and you turning them sideways has any appreciable effect. Effectively, all you've done is go from 6 feet to 6 feet minus 2 inches in height. You could turn your eyes sideways to have them oriented up, down 2 feet apart and have a 2 feet difference in that way, or just simply lower your head a little bit by 2 inches and be at the new height anyway, based off of the height of the lower eye. When you turn your head sideways, you haven't made an appreciable effect on your vision at all. It's just 2 inches of difference, if that. So I just don't see how what you're saying is some sort of refuter of what I'm saying. The general principle would more or less still be there.
Real quick, before we get too far into the weeds on this, Jose, I was wondering if you could put up the thing that Truth Nerds shared that Jesse Gordon posted.
Let me see. Oh, here in the Daily Boom? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Uncensored.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
It is a screenshot. There you go. It's up. That's it.
All right, but I'm just going to address what Lemon said real quick. If it's the asymmetrical nature of human vision, and that of human vision part is very important, then if I turn the human vision 90 degrees, the asymmetrical portion of human vision is going to be in a different orientation. That asymmetrical portion should do different things in that different orientation, but it doesn't.
But you haven't made an appreciable change. You've effectively changed the height of your eyes by, at max, 3 inches? That's not going to
And
make
the
much
orientation.
of a difference. You think 3 inches of difference is going to make a difference?
No, I think the orientation is going to make the difference. Don't make up my position for me, Lemon.
I will make up as much of your position as I can to discover its propositions, what it's asking us to believe, and ferret out the falsehood. If you're not going to be clear enough to do so, then that falls on me and vice versa.
No,
if you're saying that
you cannot tell me that I was not clear. You cannot tell me that I didn't specifically say orientation.
But there were propositions that you did not explore, so it fell on me to explore them.
Lemon, you cannot tell me that I was not explicit in exactly what I said. You're changing the orientation, so the asymmetrical nature of your vision should be in a different orientation. Don't tell me again that I was not clear, and it is up to you to make up my position.
You need to change your height enough to make a difference. 3 inches? I doubt that that's going to be a factor.
It's not about his height. It's about the orientation. And once again, Lemon, listen to what you said. You are going to have to lie about what he said in order to make up what you're about to make up. That should be a problem. That you
I don't even have to lie about the vision.
You are going to lie about
your eye level. I don't even have to lie about anything. The eye,
you just said you were going
the
to.
top and bottom half, where half of it is below the level of the eyes and half of it's above the level of the eyes. When you turn your head sideways, okay, great. You have one eye that's, say, above perfect eye level, assuming it's cut between the two eyes, and one that's below. I mean, the same symmetrical representation appears to apply because right side up, half of the eye is split up and down. When you turn sideways, at best, you have one eye above and one eye below. But how the brain actually interprets and generates an image, I mean, that's something else. We have a lot of theory about how even that occurs. As far as I can tell, 3 inches of reorienting your head isn't going to make much of a difference.
All right, so it seems clear that Lemon's going to continue to lie about the position, and that's fine. We can move on to another topic.
Seems clear that you're not going to explore the propositions properly in a way that even allows us to solve the problem. So your propositions need to be thrown out because they really don't help us figure this stuff out.
Best part about this, Gary, best part about this, Doofus, not only is he lying about your position, he admits to lying about the position and says it's necessary for him to lie about the position. That should tell you everything you need to know about Lemon right there.
Your propositions aren't helping us solve the problem. They need to be thrown out. I'm sorry. You reorienting your head by 3 inches, turning it sideways, does jack shit.
Lemon, you are the problem.
All right, so what's up on screen right now is an observation that Jesse Gordon has posted for us, where you can see through the water level to a distant building. The altitude of the building is out there marked that way, and it's also marking the observation altitude as well. And if water forms a horizontal plane, and if the Earth is flat, those two things have to be true at the same time, then it should intersect the building just above the base floor there. But it doesn't. Kind of interesting.
Which
would
path
break is the light taking?
Which would break Lemon's hallway and his perspective.
And the symmetry.
Yes, symmetrically, we can see the whole building. Well, most of the building. The light's got to take a particular path to get where it's going. Doesn't seem to be matching up with what you would expect for a flat Earth.
Crickets.
Rage quit, maybe?
No, he's still here. He's just muted. He's just trying to figure out exactly which lie he's going to pull out of his book of lies. It doesn't quite interfere with the rest of the lies he's told.
Well, even if they do interfere, he'll still say them.
I mean, it's bad enough listening to him to, literally just making shit up as he goes. But to be so ridiculously obtuse especially when something is clearly stated.
I just love that we actually on camera admitting that he's going to lie about a position so that he doesn't have to address it the way it was stated. That was
poisoning the
fucking
well and insidious rhetoric.
it's not poisoning the well at all.
Where half of the object is above the level of the eyes, and half of it's below the level of the eyes. For the water levels that are in the foreground, half of them need to be above and below the level of the eyes, and the buildings in the background need to basically be half above and below the level of the eyes. Also impossible since they're sticking out of the ground along with you, and you're 6 feet tall, and they're 100 feet tall, and there's height differences. So these perfect situations that you're talking about just don't apply, gentlemen. They're just not
why
there.
they are below the level of the eyes?
Lemon, you're saying that that the building in whole can drop below the level of the eye if it's not symmetrically in line with the middle of the eye? Is that what you're going through?
The smaller
That's what you
object in
just
the
said,
foreground is
literally.
flooding your visual field, and it's taking on aspect ratios, parallax, and other factors that are making it look out of size and out of proportion with the bigger stuff in the background. It appears to tower over them because it's simply flooding your visual field. If you want a more even visual field, gentlemen, ideally, half of the object is above the level of the eyes, half of it's below the level of the eyes, and the objects are in focus as they're taken away from the observer. These conditions
But the problem is
apply.
But the problem is that the water level is in. Yeah, if that's a position you want to take, then the water level is not identifying your local horizontal, and then the water is broken.
Exactly.
It's identifying a horizontal, that is all. And even a horizontal ruler will appear to ramp up and down toward the horizon the moment you take that laterally leveled ruler left to right that is laterally level to the horizon. The moment you rotate it, it will appear to ramp up and down toward a new horizon in the distance.
Wait a second, but
Even though it's still level.
that's not ramping up towards the horizon there. That would actually, what you're seeing in the background would mean that everything is ramping down to a horizon, even though you've got an established horizontal plane. You've just broken yourself again.
No.
Yeah.
It's still level. It just takes on depth. And since it's taking on depth, it will ramp toward the horizon. Depending on how you orient the ruler and how you rotate it. If you rotate it this way, it will appear to ramp up toward the horizon. If you rotate it this way, it will appear to ramp down from the horizon, even though it is still level and you've only laterally rotated it. It takes on depth. And since it takes on depth, it's going to ramp up or down or appear to ramp up or down toward a new point. That's it.
But it should be at eye level because you're looking through it.
Yes, for a 12-foot observer looking at a set of buildings in the distance, your eye level striking that building at 12 feet. So all that vision below, you should never, ever have more than that 12 feet of obstruction, according to your argument. Now, we see 150 feet of obstruction of those buildings. How is that, Lemon?
Well, obviously, because the horizon, like a penny in front of a car, is obstructing huge amounts of visual space beyond. And the lack of symmetry, gentlemen, means that the top half of your vision demands 100 feet of visual coverage in that angle. But the bottom's like, sorry, I'm bottoming out at 6 feet. So either you're going to have a funhouse mirror effect where you somehow try to represent 100 feet of information asymmetrically with the 6 foot of information from the level of the eyes down, or the image is simply dropped. I'm sorry.
You're literally saying that the water level is not forming a horizontal plane. You literally
the water level forms a horizontal plane, yes.
Right, and then you're denying that entirely.
But the length of the water level also forms a 2D object.
Where is that
and that 2D object will converge, merge, and disappear.
So, Lemon,
horizontal
you basically have a horizon line, gentlemen, with that water level.
Lemon, stop. You're just talking to flood the waves of there at the moment. You're being asked a question.
And you're trying to poison the well, so you're not going to get prioritized by me in any conversation because you're insidious and,
No, what's insidious? No, Lemon, the only thing that's insidious is you because by your own admission, you lie and you make things up.
You're not. I don't want to talk to you right now. I really
the irony.
Blue, what were you saying?
It's really neat.
Trapped, and he's not going to have this sensible conversation with anybody at this point.
So, Lemon, you have to realize that one thing you need to realize about that photo, and you probably didn't look at the graphic enough to notice it. Both the observer and the building are on a hill, and the building, you should be lined up with one of the bottom couple of floors. But the entirety of the building is below this horizontal created by this water level. How do you account for that? And it makes sense. because what you just said made no sense.
Obviously, in the foreground, the angles of vision that you're looking through is representing a different amount of height in visual information. In the foreground, 12 feet of visual space, 6 feet up and down from the level of the eyes, is represented as 60 degrees of visual field. The buildings in the background are in a visual field that is probably 5 times that. So you're dealing with
Farmer's boy mute. Farmer's boy mute.
Sorry. Thought I was.
You're dealing with a mile of visual scene that is represented up and down from the level of the eyes. So different amounts of visual information are represented in different visual scenes, foreground to background. The eye is going to have parallax and lack of proper representation visually as it tries to represent 12 feet in the foreground versus, say, 2 miles in the background. And these aspect ratios are going to be off because you're too close to the surface. It is what it is.
Wait, so at what distance do the railroad tracks switch sides?
They never switch sides. They just appear to converge so much you can't tell what's above or below anything. It's the same thing here. You can't tell what's above or below anything because there's too much conversion.
In this photo, Lemon, the top of the building is now below where it could possibly be according to perspective.
That's just the way the eye represents stuff. The stuff in the foreground is flooding the stuff in the background, and the aspect ratios are off. That's it.
It just obvious. It just is.
So it's just blood flooding, visual flooding. That's all. You can demonstrate it by getting too close to the surface. The aspect ratios are going to be off because your visual.
Lemon, in your world, what is an aspect ratio? And also, for this to be parallax,
the size of an object relative to another size of another object. If the stuff in the foreground is smaller, ideally it would take on the right aspect ratio and appear smaller than the bigger stuff in the background. But perspective is not perfect and tied up with a bow like that.
That's not aspect ratio.
Then what would you say aspect ratio is? I gave you my definition. What's yours?
If you're looking at an object's aspect, an aspect ratio is its width divided by its height.
Okay, the width of the objects in the foreground appear to be out of proportion with the width of the objects in the background. It appears to be taller even though it's shorter.
Aspect ratio is for a single object. It's not compared to other objects.
The same principle applies. The ratio of the objects, whatever the hell you want to call them, parallax, aspect ratio, whatever, are off because the stuff in the foreground is flooding.
This cannot be parallax because we're not changing position and taking multiple pictures to show the distance or the relationship in distances between the two objects. This is a single image. You need to learn terms.
Call it. I'm not left brain like you. I can use terms to get to my meaning quite easily without being very.
But you're not actually getting anywhere by using the terms.
Break your left brain paradigm and try to understand the other person from where they're coming from, and maybe you would be able to solve this problem. Like I said, the stuff in the foreground is flooding the stuff in the background. I don't know what a technical definition would be to your fancy or to your liking. That is all.
So
part of communication is using words that other people understand.
Yeah,
creating
new definitions for words.
You weren't imaginative enough to solve the issue, and you're too left brain and too rigid to do so. A lot of good the words in the dictionary did you. Anyway, the stuff in the foreground is flooding the stuff in the background. It's not taking on its proper size, its proper proportion, whatever the fuck.
So, Lemon, once again, it's not being quote unquote right brained, which is pseudoscience, by the way. I know you love to call that out on other people. Being right brained does not mean that you get to invent new definitions and new terminology and use them in bastardized ways to pretend like you know what you're doing.
And you don't get to change that to the dictionary while you don't solve the problem. Anyway, the proportion, aspect ratio, parallax, whatever, leads to flooding in the foreground while the background is not proportionally represented relative to the stuff in the foreground. It's just the way it is. Even though you have water lump.
What you're doing is you're taking terminology and intentionally misusing it so that you can create a lie. This is called you being dishonest.
No, you're trying to chain this to the dictionary because you can't solve the problem.
You're not solving a problem by doing this.
And I'm rigid and too stiff in your interpretation to do so. So somebody else with another interpretation is going to have to come along and point out that the emperor has no clothes. I'm so sorry.
You're just making shit up, Lemon, is the point.
Yeah. Real quick, it's worth noting that Lemon's also been on record. Things compress. Things above the level of the eye compress down to the level of the eye, and things below the level of the eye compress up to the level of the eye. that kind of explanation is completely shattered by this observation, because the level of the eye is near the bottom of the building in the distance. So clearly that's not happening here.
But a lot of it,
which is why he's now created this new terminology of aspect ratio to say flooding.
Now that you're still at the level of the eye, you need a laser because there's so much information compressed into the level of the eye. You can't really tell what's above or below anything based off of vision alone. You're going to need a laser to double check your assumptions. Otherwise, there's so many
double check
compressed
your altitude with a laser.
What's going on?
Do you need to double check your elevation above sea level with a laser?
The only way to tell what level that you're at, gentlemen, is how the stuff ramps. Stuff above the level of the eye,
your altitude, your elevation above sea level with a laser, Lemon.
So you would need a laser to double check your assumption, since most people assume that lasers travel straight and true.
So you're admitting that a water level is a useless tool for defining level?
He's denying the water level works.
The water level works, but there's a lot of information crammed into that level, just like the penny crams a lot of visual information behind the penny. Even the level line, gentlemen, compresses and hides a lot of visual information.
No matter what, Lemon can't get away from this simple fact. The elevation of that camera with respect to the water level is now establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
A horizontal plane. And within that horizontal plane, a lot is compressing blue.
And in contradiction to other things that you have said in the past, in contradiction to what you are saying now, in violation of words that you are
using. Left brain to see the connections, you poisonous viper.
Lemon, you're going to have to figure out that you are not open-minded by misusing everything. That is not an open mind. That is, by definition, a closed mind. You have a preconceived notion, and you are willing to make up anything to defend it. You have the definition of a closed mind. Do you understand that?
You have to wait for programming from other handlers before you have any imagination, any vision, or any sort of new focus.
Imagination is not going to solve anything other than if you wanted to make yourself look like the biggest ass in the world, and you have imagined yourself into that place.
The answer is right here. It's sad that you can't see it.
I find it clear that when Lemon, you use words like poisonous viper, you clearly have you're thinking in a completely different reality from the rest of us.
What reality are you in where the flat horizon somehow wraps around a ball? You gotta trust your senses.
I can answer that question. Here we go. I'm going to post it in the Daily Boom Uncensored.
I understand everything Lemon says.
We this before. We had to establish that Lemon wasn't confusing the idea of a horizon being a big flat line out in front of him or a circle. We had to go through that to establish it. So he's been there and done that. He did think it was a big flat line at first, but he realized in the middle of the
gentlemen, the stuff in the foreground is flooding the stuff in the background. Even your idealized eye level has a bunch of information above and below the eye level that is crammed into the eye level. So you can't tell what's above or below anything anymore with all of this cramming. You're going to need to limit your assumptions with the laser, otherwise, no go. So sorry.
Something was brought up just a moment ago by Lemon. How do I know about the straight line horizon curving around or whatever? They have been in an airplane, 34,000 feet, and photographed the curvature of the horizon. I even had some forethought and put that horizon in different parts of the frame at the same time to exclude the lens from being what causes the curvature. But there we are. We have a curved horizon. If we ever actually look at that later in YouTube, that's fine.
It's so hard to tell, gentlemen, with curved lenses, curved airplane fuselage, and all of these compressed visual angles. We're going to need a laser, microwave, long distance line of sight, infrared. That's
just working your way through the memes now.
That's it.
Yeah. We can go through each and every single one of those excuses, every single one of them. For instance, since I already ruled out the camera lens, we can also rule out the window because it's curved in only one axis. And the line in the distance that you assume is straight is curved downward, which a piece of glass curved in one axis and a line in the distance that is perpendicular to that axis of curve wouldn't do that, because I know optics. So what's next? If we're done with the window didn't cause it, the camera lens didn't cause it, what caused it?
Compressed visual angle, like life is short and others have demonstrated. Get close to the wall, the ceiling, the floor. All of a sudden, the object that was unobstructed appears to be obstructed. That's it.
It's talking about curvature,
Wait, no,
not
hold on.
obstruction, and he's 35,000 feet in the air.
Yeah, that's the question. Why? So how does compressed visual angles turn the horizon from a straight line into a curved line?
I guess I'd have to look at the curvature of your lens, the curvature of the airplane fuselage, atmospheric refraction, that sort of stuff.
Okay, so we already ruled out the lens and the window because you weren't listening. But then if you want to go to refraction in the atmosphere, that's pretty easy to deal with since the gradient is vertically oriented. There's no reason for different parts of it to bend the horizon down more than other parts horizontally. So what's next for the line of excuses?
Demonstration of concept. You get close to the surface, you still see the surface ramping up toward the object, yet the object in the distance appears to be obstructed, even though the surface appears to be ramping up toward the object as if you're still above the object. So it looks like compressed visual angle as far as I can see.
We're not talking about obstruction. We're talking about curvature of the horizon, Lemon. I've said that several
There's
times.
no curvature. It's curvature of the lens, the airplane fuselage, or some sort of weird effect.
Okay.
Super chat time. Brian Peck for $5. Big shout out to Brian Peck. Was that Brian Peck who was here speaking and helping and moderating, and Lemon was getting mad at him? Thank you so much if that was you. But he say, gotta run. Snow isn't going to shovel itself. Tell Lemon, I know a nice young man, the ER with a forked tongue, if he wants the Viper experience. Shout out to Brian Peck. Yes, that was you. Thank you for coming, Brian. Good looking out. Appreciate it.
Ooh. Don't threaten him with a good time.
Good times. All right, I got one more character in here. I'm gonna share that. Another character added to the drawing. Here is. This one is gonna look better probably when it's colored. It looks kind of odd now in black and white, but still, you're gonna see who he is, and that's it. It's gonna look really good. And this person is. What do you think about this guy that is gonna pop in the Discord server about now? Isn't that cool, man? Look at that guy. Weirdo.
Nice.
Looks a little weird, but yeah, it's just a lot of shading and dark in one side of the face against a darker bright background. But he's cool, man. Charlie Welsh for $5, just contributing a little since the flirting never do. Thank you so much, Charlie Welsh. I appreciate it, man. Good looking out. Thank you, everybody. I hope I didn't miss any super chat or something because I'm kind of, a little off today because I'm busy doing a little something else, but I'm having fun too. I'm listening. If I didn't have you guys in my ears, I'll be like, banging my head around. And me with the option of jumping in and helping out. But so far, so good. We are all in. We're having a dynamic, diverse discussion. Let's do it.
I wanted to shout out some responsible trolling here, just and as I noticed it scroll by. Steve Wilson said,
"How about Lemon's? How about the curvature of Lemon's circular reasoning?"
Nice, like that.
I'm gonna take a pause, a quick break in here. I'm drawing. I'm getting a phone call, so I'll be kind of listening, but I'll be listening very shortly.
All right. It's pretty sweet drawing so far.
I think that last couple of minutes would be a good clip to save. Just before Jose popped in, obviously, not the literal last couple of minutes. It was literally like listening to a broken bot. thing is, it's always just the same stuff repeated ad nauseum and never really any evidence. And Lemon just likes to get shirty when his bullshit's getting exposed. If it bothers him that much, he could do a better job of representing his argument. Sorry, Blue, on you go.
I wish these guys would get together on their arguments. So, I mean, if you listen to Bev, according to him, you can survey the entire goddamn planet with a water level. If you listen to Lemon, Gary, easy, buddy.
Hey, you can watch my video yesterday.
My
video will show what the camera does when you lower it to the ground.
Oh, shit, Gary. Thanks very much. Listen to Lemon, you can't even look at a building 20 miles away using water level. What's up?
You can't because you're foreshortened at the ground.
All right, I posted it here.
If your water level is 5 foot above, will be negligible.
Here and
be able to see it at the horizon.
For you, Gary.
Right, Gary. Whatever, Gary. Your couch.
Hey, just watch my video yesterday with the. You got the road. You'll see the road in the thumbnail. I simply lower my camera down to the ground. Buildings disappear in the background. Information on the road where you can. When I first started taking the video, you can see a lot of center lines. When I get it down towards the ground, you can see like 2.
Woo! The problem here in particular is not obstruction. The problem here is horizontal is seemingly elevating above the surface in the distance.
You can take a 5 foot level, or put a tube, make it level, look over the top of it, see where it hits in the distance. It'll be at the horizon.
Seems to always
be at the horizon.
Higher altitude. Why is that?
No, it'll hit at the horizon. You got a
Jesus.
5 foot tall, look off into the distance, and it will be at the horizon. It won't be way above it or way below it. It will be where that horizon line.
Things called auto levels or theodolites, designed for doing exactly what you're talking about, and you'll find out that it doesn't actually do that. The horizon is always a little bit below your eye level. You got some.
Yes, it's always slightly below if you're looking through an optical device that lets you zoom in. But if you're looking with your natural eye, it's basically you can't decipher it as separate. They look the same.
We don't measure it.
Yes, you're right. It's just like the railroad tracks where they don't actually meet.
So I don't have any choice but to use my natural eyes to look at things.
Yeah, measuring things is hard. It doesn't let us do things.
When you look, I'm just saying, when you look over, just set something up level. Look over this, right at the surface. Look off in the distance. It will meet the horizon. And you won't tell the difference because it's too close.
Go high enough, and it won't, even with your eyes.
Is that, Gary, is that background noise you rattling your restraints? It was you rattling your restraints? Thanks, man.
No, I was letting cows go out of their restraints.
Just gonna post this here.
Yeah. You got.
Well, anyhow, Blue. When I lower my, sorry,
Gary's got clanky earth.
So anyhow, Blue, watch my video yesterday, the one thumbnail. Try to explain why I can't see more lines when I lower to the ground compared to when I'm just standing there taking the picture. The angle. Angles compress information into ever smaller spaces to the point where you can't resolve them. It's really simple. Lemon is absolutely right. I understand everything he's saying because I think we think exactly alike. Which is odd, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, you understand everything. You understand everything that he's saying, but when he says something like aspect ratios, you don't, pay attention to the fact that he's using the word wrong, right?
No, he isn't, because I think what he's saying is, like, let's say I'm standing on the ground and I point.
No, he isn't.
To the ground. Will you stop interrupting? Let's say I point stick 45-degree angle to the ground. Okay, you're interrupting again. Come on now, you guys play fair. You don't like when I do it. So if you point a 45-degree stick to the ground, it's right in front of you, right? Your length, right? Now, if I point a 45-degree angle to the sky, it's much further distance, isn't it? Because the sky is a bigger part of your overall field of view, right? Compared to the ground. You're close to the ground. So that 45-degree angle doesn't even come close. The 45-degree the sky is going to be way up in front of you, where the 45-degree angle to the ground is like right there. It compresses that much quicker than it does the sky. The sky actually, what you think is meeting the horizon is actually way beyond it.
Cool how none of that was related to what I said about aspect ratio. Thanks for that, Gary.
Yeah, that is the aspect ratio. Your bottom half of
No.
your vision, because you're close to the ground, is always much quicker than the top half.
All right,
That's not an aspect ratio either.
Super time. I got 666 by John Watson via PayPal. Thank you very much, John Watson, for the 666. Gary and Lemon equals double stupid in stereo. Shout out to John Watson. Thank you for the PayPal, brother. Hell yeah. In stereo.
Well, I'm glad you got contributors. Making you some. You should be saying thank you.
He does.
Always. Very, very appreciated. Yeah, always.
They're sending the super chats because of me. When I talk, or Lemon talks, these guys are wanting to get their little comment in and you to read it, so they pay you money.
Yeah, they
You
send
should
the
thank
super chat
Lemon and me.
Yeah, they send the super chat to support the channel to keep the derp coming. I appreciate it. Yeah. No, thank you. I always thank you guys. You know, every super chat I don't have to thank you, Gary, or Lemon, or whatever. Whoever is mentioning the super chat, I don't need to thank the person. Thank you to the person that put the money out there to support the channel. At the end of the show, and if you need to go and you get your final thoughts, I always thank you. Thanks everybody to be here. Every single person here is valuable the same.
I'm just being a smart ass, Jose. Making a point.
See, and I was being honest.
I wasn't really serious.
But I was being honest and serious.
Yeah, I wasn't really being serious. I basically a joke.
Gary, are you
went over your head? I'm sorry.
Kidding me? I watched your video. What you take your camera above the terrain and you tell me you don't see the buildings because something is blocking your view?
Actually, you see everything compressing towards the center frame as I drop down.
Anything
I have a little dirt berm. Okay, are you guys now? You're interrupting.
No, I'm telling you what I saw. Don't tell me.
No, somebody was talking and they were interrupting my answer that you asked me the question for.
Yeah, ask you. Are you?
So anyhow, there's a little dirt berm on the side, a little ditch, and when I drop my camera down to the road level, it's maybe a foot taller than where I was, and it blocked all those buildings in the background. How does something that's like a foot higher than me block all those buildings?
Oh,
can't
wow,
imagine how it does
Gary,
that.
I really don't know how that happens.
Actually, you probably don't know how that happens.
Well, I didn't lose any information. I didn't see anything squish. Nothing. I saw something obscure.
Were you watching with your eyes closed?
Yeah, no. I watched your video.
Did you have glasses on? You can literally see trees and buildings swallow up the center frame. That's why I told you, pay attention when you do it. I put it right in the beginning of my video. Pay attention what happens at center frame.
I did pay attention, Gary.
Just like the road, just like the lines on the road, they get up, and all you can see at the end is like two lines. I have an angle over all those lines. I'm higher than all the rest of them, but I can't see them. Why? Because the angle's too narrow. The visual information is too compressed. Your eye cannot resolve them all.
Your mirage there?
Yeah, there was a mirage. I pointed it out. And when I moved my camera down, guess where that was? It looked like it was right in front of the camera.
Right.
Isn't that funny?
So why are you asking me why they disappear? We know
I'm saying
why.
Visual information becomes unresolvable.
Now,
your visual field, which is center frame.
No, when there is a mirage, there is a mirage. When there's some dirt in front of something, there's some dirt. But when there's no dirt in front of something, when we see the building half hidden behind water, it's hidden behind water, Gary.
Those buildings were becoming unresolvable before they even hit the berm.
They weren't unresolvable.
And the whole point of that berm, I pointed out, was something bigger than it behind it. And I showed exactly how it works. It's something close, slightly
because
higher
they
than the
never
camera
become
that hid something
unresolvable.
further in the background that was much bigger but much further
They
away.
never
That's the
become
same thing like Ranty's
unresolvable.
picture,
And
or like
you
Tommy's
could,
picture,
and if you
or like
could
Blue, or like
zoom
B-Ball's
in and
picture that I showed
show
with
us that they
the
are
sail ship or the
resolvable
sailboat.
again, please do it.
I did. Did you see the center lines? How they disappeared?
No. After they unresolvable, zoom in and show it again.
Oh, you want me to make a little short one and zoom in and see how much more? It's going to be nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll just make the line itself.
Exactly.
You're not going to see much. You're not going to see further when I put my camera on the ground.
There's some dirt in the way, Gary.
You're not going to see. You're not. No,
I'm not going to see because they are not unresolvable. There is dirt in the way.
No, I'm talking about the center lines on the road. The center lines on the road. When I'm up above the road, you can. When I drop my camera, you can see like two. Maybe you can maybe see a
because
little bit of the third
there.
one. No. The mirage was behind that.
No,
the mirage was off in the distance. To be honest with you, that's why when I first stood up, that mirage was way back there. When I lowered, it crammed all that information into a small area. The mirage looked like it was right there.
Hold on. I got it. I need to know what's going on here. I mean, I need to know what's going on here. I mean, what is this movement? Is something being digitally removed from this GIF? You know, like the movie, the trailer, when they did the trailer Spider-Man, you had Electro, Sandman, and Lizard jumping in, and one Spider-Man jumping to them, but because the other two Spider-Mans were digitally removed. Did we have something digitally removed from this GIF that an Amorphic Mind posted of MC Toon? Boom. Just saying. MC Toon, you got some explaining to do. Guys, sorry, carry on. Oh, and that was spoilers, but the movie has been out for over a month. Yeah, there are Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are on Spider-Man, the new movie. Boom! That sucks. And also Matt Murdock, the Netflix guy. Oh man, that's funny.
Our favorite pet, Balanced Truths, stated that he needs to see Curvature of the Horizon, which is funny given the conversation we just had like 20 minutes ago.
Oh man, I don't know, but for some reason when I see that MC2 GIF, it makes me think of this, which I'm gonna just present it for a split second. Just saying. Boom. Oh, that's so fucked up. So wrong and so right at the same time. There are a couple cows missing, probably. He's just milking some cows. Yeah, let's leave it like that. And shout out to Mr. Space Cat, Mr. Victory's Radio. He's the one that is making me super chat because of the gifts he bring me and the images he throw on the Discord server. Shout out to you, man. You are a very, very valuable part, very valuable link on this chain. What is the boom? Wish is the boom. Big shout out to Jesse from Jesse Gordon. He's sitting here. He's deafened, but welcome back. The first time he's been sitting here in the new channel. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up in 10, 15, 20 minutes. We'll do final thoughts. Gotta go and do my last stop to visit my parents before they take off to Puerto Rico again. Everybody, please keep Papa Gonzalez in your thoughts and positivism and prayers. If you're doing, he's gonna have a delicate procedure done in his heart. A small thing they gotta put. I gotta do something in his heart, and he's an older guy. He's 79, so yeah. Hopefully everything goes well. You know, at least I enjoyed those good times with him these past few weeks.
boom. Yeah, they all came in and they all had the coof. They all caught the coof on my sisters over there. My sister, my nephews, my nieces, baby, my dad, my mom, everybody caught the coof. And I went there, visited them, hang out with them, and I'm good. Never got anything. So yeah. Holla holla. That was fun show today. Appreciate it. Jesse, what the hell, man? And left lane, I'm gonna try to finish that drawing by tonight or tomorrow. In the next few days, is already in the works, and that's coming up as soon as it's already done. I'll send you a picture. I'll share it over here with the audience. Hopefully by tomorrow it's all done, and then we'll mail it to you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jose. I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, it means a lot to me for sure. And I'll do my final thoughts. I've got to step out and finish unloading.
Cool.
But yeah, I support the channel because I appreciate what you do, and that's from the heart, brother. I appreciate it a lot. Think a lot of you, and I hope we just get to keep on doing the boom.
I thank you very much for your support on being over here hanging out with us for a few years now and being a big supporter, not only with money, I mean big supporter that you are always watching, listening, commenting and giving us ideas on the show and giving your feedback. That's what matters, brother, to let your voice be heard. And I hear you, man. I thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Gary, Mr. Bobanga, you see an interesting paradox with a ruler lined up to the horizon, left to right in such a way that it appears to be level with the horizon. The moment you rotate the ruler without raising it higher or lower, it appears to ramp up or down past the horizon. So we do have a bit of a paradox here, gentlemen, where something level like the ruler or the water level appears to have the potential to ramp up or down past the horizon in the background simply by rotating the object. I would posit, gentlemen, that in the foreground, the level line represents very little information size-wise or height-wise, but in the distance, more stuff is crammed into this level line, and stuff that appeared to be above appears to be below simply because of, I guess you could call it, cramming into this eye level. So I'd say, gentlemen, that the eye level is not this perfect line that maintains a perfect top and bottom half of the visual scene. I'd say that the level line, at best, is another zone of vision where a lot of stuff is cramming into a small area, even stuff that before appeared to be above or below it.
Yeah,
it's really funny because we were actually
What the hell are you talking about?
Okay, that was really funny because we were talking about at the time not a ruler but a water level, which excludes the possibility of rotating that reference horizontal. So if we're talking about rotation of something, that ain't it.
The water level is an object with thickness, though, like the ruler. And so the height of the water column itself could be seen as a level, if you were, where a lot of optical information is crammed and stuff that appeared to be above it is crammed into the same space, and stuff that was below it appears to be crammed into it too. So yet again, you'd have to check it with a laser, gentlemen, with all of this optical cramming into one area going on.
So with all of that, you're suggesting that the water level is not identifying a horizontal.
It can only identify a horizontal up to a point, up to the point of an object, the distance to an object that is the same height as the water level or lower. Past that point, there's too much asymmetry, and you can't tell what's being represented to the eye or the optic anymore.
Okay, but on Earth, when we use the water levels to do these kinds of things, the distant objects are always going down. They're not error. There's no error where there's randomly either above or below. It's always down. There's always drop.
That's because you're too close to the surface. A lot of cramming is happening because you're too close to the surface, and the bottom half is saying, okay, I can represent up to 6 feet of information, fine, but past that, That's it. And the top is like, I need 40 feet of information. I need 50 feet of information. I need 100 feet of information for symmetrical representation. And the bottom half of your vision is like, sorry, can't do. You're just going to have to drop the image. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not a paradox. It's just a paradox.
The thing is, as well,
So just like the coin in front
your
of the
eye
car,
doesn't
gentlemen,
care about
the
feet and inches.
horizon
And
line
the
or
other thing,
the eye
Lemon,
level.
is that
not working
you have
out.
tried to
RK and
claim.
Lemon is not working out.
Oh,
RK
I
and
haven't
Lemon.
turned down. Hold on, LK. Let me turn you up. I'm getting prepared for bitching and whinging just now.
Oh, I think you think your passive aggressive bullshit is cute, don't you?
You're wrong.
Lemon, I've got a question. Like I asked
You
you
said
this
it's cute.
before.
LK,
Hold
did
on,
you have
sorry.
something to contribute to the
I was
discussion?
pointing out two things. One is your eye doesn't give a shit about feet and inches and how much information is available to it. And the second part is you're totally contradicting yourself again because you're trying to make it that you need more information to cram into a smaller space to make sense of it, when your entire point has been trying to say that there isn't enough information, or that there's too much information crammed into a small space and it can't handle it. So on the one hand, you're saying there's too much information there. On the other hand, you're saying you need more information to be able to resolve items in the distance. So you're actually contradicting your own ridiculous
Not
argument.
really, but whatever. There's too much information crammed under the optic to make a 2D image. And the symmetrical pairing of the information isn't there. The top half is saying,
And you
I
claim
need
that the
100 feet of
bottom
visual
doesn't have
information.
enough
The bottom half is
information.
saying, I'm sorry, I can only give you 6 feet. So either you're going to have a weird funhouse effect or you're going to have to drop the image.
Yep.
But there's
Too
enough
close to the
information to
ground,
see the
not
object
enough
in the
information. Information getting dropped. You need more information. If you go higher, you'll get more information. That means more information crammed into the same area of the eye.
What
It is
Lemon
contradictory, yeah.
And therefore, your eyes will compress that all into a little central point where you can no longer resolve.
according to Lemon, information is height, and the shorter the height is, the more information there is there. I guess.
I guess the question, gentlemen,
Lemon.
is what is crammed into this vanishing point? Is it symmetrical information?
Lemon, I asked you a question probably a couple of weeks ago in regards to Mr. Sensible's Mage Balloon. You said you would watch it. Have you watched it?
I got through like 20 minutes of it. It's so boring. I'll have to watch the rest of it, but I got a lot of red pill.
Yeah, that's kind of what you said prior to me asking you to watch it again.
Yeah, these things take time.
So you haven't watched it since then? Is that
Not the
what
whole
you're saying?
thing. Not the whole
Okay,
thing, but
maybe
I
you
see
should.
the horizon veering up and down enough to see lens artifact as far as I can tell.
Have you rewatched the Life of Short video recently, Lemon?
I've watched it 2 times.
Have you
Working on a
revisited?
third, but I'm busy.
Damn, that's like 3 hours long. But you can't watch a half an hour video of Mr. Sensible.
One's more intellectually stimulating than the other.
Stingray, you want me to present your screen? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, go for it. I got a question for Lemon about the top half and bottom half of vision.
Yes.
Can you see my screen, Lemon?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got a camera here, and I'm looking at a vessel. So is your contention that the bottom half of this lens, or vision, whatever you want to call it, is going to form a horizon line which will hide the ship as we move away, correct? And it's and as far as I can tell, you're saying it's because it's the bottom half of the lens. Now, the lens is an aspherical lens element. They all are. In other words, they're just squished spheres. So, how are you dividing it by half? What says this is the bottom and the top? Because with a sphere, it's just omnidirectional. Even if it's squished in one of the axes, it's just a 360-degree sphere, basically. So, is it the thing closest to the ground, which is the bottom half? Is that how we define it?
When you look down a hallway, you see a bottom half that ramps up. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm not
Other
about
than the top
perspective.
and bottom half of vision from that point.
Yeah. So I'm not on about perspective here. So this whole program is perspective.
So since you see that in a hallway, that gives you a top and bottom half of vision.
Well, that's just a hallway. You're saying the top and bottom half of vision. So the top and bottom half of vision is nothing to do with the lens or your eye. It's to do with the
you see
hallway.
that outside as long as the conditions in the hallway hold for outside. As long as something outside maintains its elevation and goes away parallel to where you're looking, well, then the same conditions would apply.
Okay, cool. So it's actually nothing to do with the top and bottom half of the vision of your eye. It's actually because there's a ground and a ceiling, then, let's say. Is that fair to say?
I'd say that's pretty fair to say. You're close to the ground, yeah.
Right, so it's absolutely nothing to do with the top and bottom half of vision. It's actually to do with your proximity to the ground, correct?
Yeah, your proximity to the ground leads to a top and bottom half of vision.
Well, it
and
really
actually,
doesn't.
you still see it even in open spaces. So even in open spaces, anything that is above the level of the eyes will appear to ramp down towards you. And even in open spaces without a ground in the way, something below the level of the eyes would appear to ramp up towards you as long as it's going parallel. So the same phenomenon still appears to apply. There's a top and bottom half of vision.
All you and Gary keep saying is perspective, and that's very well understood, but does not account for the things that you want it to. So I'm trying to
give you a top and bottom half, though. So I don't understand why you can't apply the top and bottom half that you see in the hallway to generalized vision. For some reason, you're making an application in one area but not the other.
Yeah, I'll show you why. So can you see the screen right now? Yes?
You can see it.
Okay. So what is the bottom and top of my vision now? Is the boat anywhere near the bottom half of my vision?
The bottom half would be the part that ramps up. The top part would be the part that ramps down.
Right, I'm seeing no part that ramps down now. The top of this lens is pointed at the very short body of water horizon. So the only thing in this field of view for this lens, for this camera, is everything that ramps up. Is it fair to say then that this entire lens is the entire bottom of the vision? Is that how you're portraying this phenomenon?
It would be the part that ramps up. As long as something goes way parallel to you and ramps up, that's the bottom of your vision.
Right. So now everything in this lens is the bottom of the vision, correct?
Since it's ramping up by its ramping behavior, that's what one would assume. You're just reorienting the way that you're looking at the scene, but you still have a top and bottom half that you're just reorienting your lens toward. That's all. But the bottom portion would still technically be the part that's ramping up, if you want to talk about ramping behavior, being what tells you what's the top or the bottom half.
Right. So the issue that you've got with saying top and bottom half is the half is related to absolutely nothing. And when you say top and bottom of vision, you don't mean that. You just mean the surroundings and perspective. Because if we take this, for example, and I look up at the sky, the only thing the sky is doing is appearing to converge all the way down. And that's it. Nothing else. I'm not even looking at the water now. So there's no top and half of vision, no top and bottom of lenses and stuff. It just so happens to be, the surfaces involved. I'm trying to get more to it now. So now that if I can dictate where the top of this lens is, and let's say I align the top of the lens with the horizon, is it fair for me now to assume that there is no ramping down? There is only ramping up for the entire view. Is that fair to say in the vision?
One would assume, if you take away an object parallel to you, it would just appear to ramp upward, since your visual scene is cut off more or less based off your height above the surface. So your visual scene is already limited and cut off in a certain way, essentially.
So brilliant. So now I've aligned this top of the lens to the horizon, which means absolutely every single thing in view right now is ramping up. So there is no top and bottom of vision. There is just ramping up due to perspective in the apparent field of view of the camera, which is recording a 2D image. Now, the issue that you have to explain is this vessel, when moving away towards that horizon, does not do what you would expect on a flat plane. It does not continually go upwards. At some point, this vessel will start to go down. Now, that's a very weird thing, because what it'll do is it will go away from the camera and it will appear to go up, but then at some point it will appear to not go up at all, and then at another point it will start to go down.
Stingray, very quickly, can you leave the screen share up for a few, maybe 5 minutes? Top 10 tops. I gotta go AFK for a few minutes, so we get something on the screen. Appreciate it. And you guys, I got the floor, everybody. So play nice.
Yeah. So Lemon. So when this moves away, this is the issue that we've got. Everything is now ramping up, but in real observations, something weird happens at the horizon, or it starts to go down. So previously, up to the point of the horizon, it's been going up in our apparent vision, but now it starts to go down. Now, it's not a lack of resolution or resolving anything, because you are actually closer to the bottom than you are to the top. It's a huge ship and you stood on the water's edge, let's say. So the issue that you have to explain in your phenomenon is, why does it go down?
Visually, we represent a bunch of converging lines. Like we said, Stingray, you can tell what's the top or the bottom half when stuff goes away parallel. You don't have conditions where stuff is going away parallel. You're aiming downward at an angle where the surface is going off at another non-parallel angle. So the conditions aren't there to see easily what's above or below until you take something away parallel to the surface, like you did that ship, and see how it ramps. You've broken the analytic definition that we appear to have just accepted, that we can tell what goes away or above or below the level of the eyes by the ramping, by trying to reintroduce into your analytic definition something that's ramping downward, as if the top of your lens is not quite perfectly oriented toward the bottom half of vision. But we can tell when something's above or below something simply by the way that it ramps. Anything that's below the level of the eyes will ramp upward. If you're trying to reintroduce and redefine your lens to now include a section that's above the lens that is ramping down, you've changed the analytic definition of what you put in your hypothetical. Your lens is no longer just pointing down. It has a slight section that is pointing upward, and you can see the ship ramping down in that regard.
Okay, brilliant, but that's not at all what I said, not at all what I meant, but thank you for arguing against it.
So it is what it is, Stingray. People do not always explore the implications of what they say, so unfortunately it falls on the opponent to explore it for them, and vice versa.
Indeed. So what it actually was, Lemon, is if this moves away, the bottom of the ship is going up, the black of the ship is kind of staying level, and the top is ramping down. Your issue is, in reality, I mean, I've got a flat plane here. I can't do what happens in reality. I need a curve, because this thing is going to go down in the vision. Even the bit that was ramping up previously is going to go down in vision. Not as though it's going away along a parallel plane. It's as if it's going away along a semi-parallel plane that then starts to curve away and downward. Is exactly what it appears to be in reality. But on this flat plane, there is nothing to explain that. What I was trying to get at with you is, if I point this lens down, the same phenomenon happens. Things ramp up, but then actually go back down in reality, not here, because this is flat. I can't mimic reality unless I put a 1 degree curve over 69 miles in, and then it matches. I can't reproduce your phenomenon unless I have more information, and it can't just be rhetoric. It needs to be, this causes this at this rate. So anyway, your theory's got problems, Lemon.
It doesn't. In the foreground, Stingray, you already have portions of the ship that are physically above the level of the eyes. You can orient your lens rather toward this perfect horizon and try to only encapsulate the bottom half of your vision. But in the foreground, it's too late for that, Stingray. You're trying to aim down toward the horizon that forms shore, but in the foreground, there's already information above the level of the lens. I'm looking at something that's level right here, and I can see a level line that would form a horizon shore, but in the foreground there's already information above the level of the eyes that is part of the foreground scene that will ramp accordingly regardless of where I'm pointing the lens of my eye toward the horizon. And so these idealized principles where you're saying I got this lens perfectly oriented toward the bottom half of vision doesn't include the stuff in the foreground that already includes stuff above or below the level of the optic. So perspective is a hell of a drug, gentlemen. And we're going to need to look at these principles again.
No, perspective isn't a hell of a drug. Perspective is simply distance over size, or size over distance, and that's it. There's nothing complicated about it. And I know you guys want to have it as this magical entity that's yet to be discovered, but I'm really sorry. We know what perspective is, and it is not what you describe, which is why I'm attempting to help you figure out what it is that you are describing. When you say, just real quickly, Lemon, when you say that I can't point this down and something is above the eye level here, I can assure you I can actually point this down so that in the field of view, nothing will be above the eye level. Nothing.
There's some stuff in the foreground that's above the level of the optic, run light from that zone that's cramming into the optic. So what you're saying doesn't quite mimic reality, especially with the eye. Your idealized principles, Stingray, do not help me solve the problem. Therefore, you cannot help me. I'm going to need a perspective and a paradigm from somebody who can help me figure out why the horizon forms over a flat plane. And sorry, Stingray, this isn't it.
So what you're saying is there is something in the foreground here which is above the camera, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you say above the camera, do you mean in elevation from the flat plane ground? Because if that is the case, yeah, so no, there is nothing above this camera. This camera is the highest element out of the surface of the floor here, and this. This is always below the camera. It goes up to the top due to something very simple called perspective and the view frustum. That's it. There is nothing magic about this.
Okay, there's your fallacy right there. The focal point of your lens may be oriented somewhere else, but there's still light from above the focal point that's cramming into the lens, and that will ramp accordingly. So there's your fallacy right there.
Right, so look at this. This object is entirely below and always will be below this camera unless I fucking move it up.
Your idealized example forgets about the light still cramming into the optic from above the center point of the lens or the central focal point of the lens.
Right, now, okay. So now we're back to the lens. So we've gone away from the surface. Now we're saying we're back to the top half of the lens, right? So it's not about whether it's higher than the observer. It's now, or its proximity to the floor or anything like that. Now it's about the top half of the lens again, right? Are we sticking to the top half of the lens now? Right? Pick one, or is it both? Farmers, you're welcome. Don't let me fill that out.
Damn it, I was over the other side of the room, muted. No, don't talk to me. I'm busy.
So anyway, just for the audience, again,
he's gone.
If you try and ask what the hell it is that these people are on about, and then you try to drill down to say, give me the cause and effect, give me the variable, give me all elements involved, what is it? And ask them to describe it. They have no idea, and they switch left and right and backwards and forwards. First of all, it's just the ground. It's nothing to do with the camera or the observer or the lens. No, it's definitely the lens and the bottom half of the lens. It's ridiculous.
You killed him. He even quit.
I know.
Well, that's what I was trying to do with Gary. I was trying to help him,
He said, "Oh no, you're straw manning what I said 2 days ago." So, well, help us out here. Let me ask the question again, and he refused to answer it.
Did you hear earlier?
And then 20 minutes later, he's telling everybody else, "Oh, it's so simple. It's so like you're so dumb. You don't get it because it's so simple." But
Yes,
it's so simple. Yet he can't answer my question.
No, he understood your question. He didn't agree with the question at all because you're strawmanning him. You
Yes,
say
because
after
most are straw men.
after the ship goes beyond the horizon, and he doesn't agree with this term.
Yeah, I was actually trying to steal, man. It's like tell me if you can do that.
Well, he said, well, you should say after its bottom become unresolvable.
So I just think we need better clarification of terms from the claim. Like visual information, great. What does that mean? Because what you actually mean is just degrees in the vertical or horizontal. But yes.
No, that's not.
How are you doing? How are you doing, Brian? You haven't been here in a while.
I'm busy as all hell. So, good job on slaughtering Lemon. Did you catch earlier where he admitted that he has to make everything up?
Oh no, I probably wouldn't have come in. I watched like just the past 10 minutes and heard Lemon saying some things and thought I'm definitely going to get him to explain some of his claims instead of just the rhetoric. Because yeah,
what did I miss? How did Lemonberg not here anymore?
Sorry, Jose.
Stingray was very cordial to him. He just kept asking him to explain things, and then Lemon kept saying, well, it's the limiting surface that does it. Now it's the different portion of the lens that does it. Now it's the surface that does it again. And Dean did a very good job just trying to make him pick one, and he wouldn't, so he left.
Wow, so we got a few days ago 2 times that Doofus made Gary Webenga rage quit twice in one show, and Stingray just made Lemonberg rage quit just by trying to have a conversation and back and forth. That's crazy.
And I asked Gary a question, and he melted down and started swearing at me.
It was a team effort in the side chat. Balanced Truth also
good time
because he was called a flat earther.
Oh, is he a bad light?
He's another non-flat earther.
Wait, so Balanced Truth, let me scroll up. He's still hanging out in the chat box, right? Or he rage quit from the chat box. What?
He's anyway.
He's listening probably. Oh, shout out to Balanced Truth. I've never seen Balanced Truth and Misha from Australia in the same room, so they might be the same person. Just saying.
I don't know. He's hip on a lot of Bev lingo too, so I don't know.
Yeah, he might be talk about Euclidean and non-Euclidean geometry, like he knows what either of those things are.
Oh, and Lemonberg did not rage quit. He just ran out of derp. Thanks, hold on. Yeah, he went low.
Well, he doesn't rage quit. He flounces.
No, shout out to Lemon. Yeah, thank him for coming in early and having him in the panel as the opposite view. I appreciate that.
He disappointingly flaps instead of rage quitting.
Now, Lemon would be all right if not for the fact that he lies, admits to lying, and then says that he has to lie in order to do what he says he needs to do.
Well, got a lie to flirt.
No, reality is overrated, gentlemen.
One day he's going to learn that left brain, right brain is not a thing in the way that he thinks it is.
Yeah, that's pseudoscience. It's kind of like did you know that you only use 10% of your brain? Well, maybe you'd.
Oh, you're talking about somebody that unironically uses red pill, so don't hold your breath.
Dr. Peck is new in the side chat. Are you new, Dr. Peck?
Yeah, hello, Brian. Are you new? I just gave you a range. I'm new. Hey,
I have a wrench now? Cool.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Brian Peck. hate, and I never talk about health issues in this channel or politics. I just don't like it. I don't appreciate it because a lot of places do, and they like get the worst out of people, right? But I got a question, keeping it very light and lighthearted without any details, without mentioning specifics. In my sister's house, there's a let's say 10 people live there, and there's a 2-month-old, 4-year-old. There's a 10-year-old, and then there's a few in their mid-20s, a few in the mid-40s, and then my parents are in the late 60s and 70s. All the family, they all got the coof, the big coof. I mean, not all of them actually. 8 out of the 10 got the coof. They went to do the test, and they all got the coof. I went to visit them on and off. I went a few times while they were all like, oh, this hurt and that hurt, like, oh my god. And I'm good, 100%. Is that because I got a strong immune system because I ate dirt when I was a kid, because I walk barefoot in Puerto Rico? Like, what do you think? Because I got anything extra, on me. I'm just the good old Jose with anything extra on me. Is that just normal? Some people get it, some people don't.
That's very normal that some people can get the big cough and some people don't. When I was
Hold
on, Alem. Let Bram.
When I had Delta, I was living in a small apartment with my girlfriend at the time, and she didn't catch it once. And we even had her antibody tested later on, and she still doesn't. She still has never had it. So it's just hit or miss.
Right, and I know, thank you for the question, Alem. No, I never got tested. I just didn't feel anything different whatsoever on me, and I know my body. I know if I feel different. No, I'm good. I was good all the time.
Yeah, you could test positive and be asymptomatic, or you could just not ever have it and just be really, good luck and good immune system, possibly.
Yeah, that's what I think, because I barely get sick of anything whatsoever. Every once in a while, my stomach upset, I eat something bad, but that's normal. Or I think maybe like 10 years ago, I got a kind of a flu, it hit me really bad, a bad flu, like 3 days, knocked me down, coughing and fevers and shit, but I just walked that off, and the third day I said, fuck it, I just got to heal, and I healed, myself.
My brother-in-law had it twice, and the first time he was sharing the house with his pregnant girlfriend, and then second time around he'd had the baby, so he was in the house with the baby and the wife, and both times it was only him that had the problem. It never passed on to anybody else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can't downplay the importance of hygiene. Like I know people that grew up with all the correct practices, and that's how they live their life, and that's
true.
They do a great job of staying out of getting things, catching things.
Yeah,
that's true. Point. It also has to do with the load, what's called a viral load, like the amount. That's why washing hands and masks do help, because like you can wear a good mask for 20 minutes or a better mask for longer. Yeah, it's the amount that you're exposed to before you reach a critical limit.
You're talking about infectious load, not viral load, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, yeah.
All right, let's try to, to get, that's it. I just curious. I said, like, I mean, it was on my mind. I just got a strong me. I just don't get sick easily, pretty much. And it might, when it hit me, it might hit me hard if it does. But, I don't worry because I'm just kind of positive minded,
Yeah. How many days ago was the last time you had contact with one of the Koofers?
Yesterday, all day. I was there all day with them yesterday.
All right, just keep an eye out for the next 6 days or so.
Right. But I was there, like these past 2 weeks, I've been on and off. One day on, one day visit, one day didn't. One day visit, one day didn't. For the past 2 weeks, solid, until they, from when they were really bad, everybody feeling bad, until they are all kind of okay and better now, And yeah, I haven't felt anything different,
Well, good deal. What's this about your dad having a heart procedure though?
Yeah, man. He had like 2 years ago. He was going up the stairs. He was throwing garbage, and he felt like a sharp pain in the heart, and he like sat down, almost passed out, but he held it. And he was thinking like, I'm just having a heart attack or like a small something. So he was there for like 15 minutes. He said, and I stood up, I walked it off. I was a little shaky and, feeling weird. He didn't say nothing to my mom. He didn't say nothing to nobody. And then when he had a big checkup a few months later, he mentioned it to the doctor. The doctor checked him. He said, there's no signs of a big heart attack. You might have had, it might have happened something, but we're going to keep monitoring you. So they were keeping monitor, but like a year after, like a year ago, they told him like, yeah, we just found what's the issue. They say, the way my dad explained it to me, it's some kind of like from the brain to the heart, is something is not doing the full connection. Something is like getting tiny bit unplugged, like he's not getting the full electric shock, something to get the heart beating normally. So every once in a while, he get disconnected. So they got to do a little procedure above the heart, if between the brain and the heart. And they say if it was from the heart down, like from the heart, under the heart, that would have been harder or more difficult probably. But in the area it is, they say it's a small procedure, but still very complicated because it's something to do with the heart and brain and the pumping and all that shit. So yeah.
So he's got something impinging on his phrenic nerve, and they're just gonna release it.
I guess so. Yeah, they say they might put a little something in there, like I don't know how you call it, like when they replace the heart or they put something in the heart to continuously, something electronic. They say they might put a little something electronic in that area where that's happening, so it doesn't happen again. I don't know exactly what it is or how to explain it. So yeah, he's told me, yeah, I just don't show that I'm worried, but I mean, that might be it. He's 79 now, so yeah, I'm just I don't know, good hopes, and he's gonna be in Puerto Rico, which is not the best medicine, even though he haven't gotten better in the past 20 years or so. Most of the biggest people that do heart surgery, brain surgery, and like the most difficult, they are like either Americans or people that actually studied over here good medicine, and they're younger people. So he said, my dad said, for some reason, I trust more younger people to do these procedures than older people that are always in Puerto Rico, that
I was about to say, Jose, because in the last 10, 20 years, they've opened residencies for American doctors to practice in Puerto Rico. So the younger generation of doctors are U.S. trained and U.S. doctors.
Yes. That's why he said, because maybe 15 to 8 years ago, my dad was having a lot of intestinal issues, and he had 6 surgeries on the intestines, and they put some kind of a little net to hold the intestines together. He had a big hernia. They say they took it out, but it grew again. So they did 6 surgeries, and they were butchering him, all fucked up, all kinds of cuts and openings and shit. And then the 7th surgery, then a new doctor, a young guy, was introduced to him. He said like, damn, they fucked you up, they did really bad job in here. And let's see, I got this and this idea, let's do it. 1 surgery is all it took, and that young guy fixed my dad for the issue he had. He took the rest of the hernia out. He put some kind of a little new net type of thing in the little gap, and he saw it. He fixed it up really good. So I'm happy with that, It's weird, man. Fucking medicine in Puerto Rico, killing people, bullshitting people.
Jose, that my Mrs. John is a cardiac nurse.
Nice.
As long as from what I can understand, if the situation is monitored, the stuff that they can do these days is incredible. I'm quite sure your dad would be okay.
Yeah, really. I'm positive, man. I got good hopes. Yeah, good looking at, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta get out of here, man. We all set. It was a great show today. Excellent, good diversity. A lot of topics were entertained, and Stingray, shout out to you for having Screen Up, something cool to look at. Appreciate it. Let's do a round of final thoughts and get out of here. There was a final thought earlier by Mr. Victory. I'm scrolling up for the Mr. Victory final thoughts. And Mr. Victory says, I'm still scrolling up. Oh, wait, I got a $2 super chat when I find this. There you go. John Rapp with a $2 super chat. A $2 is my bet that Lemon and Gary are not one of the 5. My bet is that Lemon and Gary are not one of the 5. All right. Thank you very much, John Rapp. Mr. Space Cat, aka Mr. Victory's Radio, says, final thoughts. How many times can one say cramming without laughing? Shout out, Mr. Victory's Radio. Al K, final thoughts.
Sorry, making dinner. I don't know. Like, Lemon's just a bullshit artist, and he needs to get better control of his emotions. He likes to act like he's all, sly and sarcastic, and he can take it and whatever. But you start pushing his buttons, and he just can't handle it. Needs to get thicker skin. He also needs to start bringing evidence, but I keep saying that every time I hear him talk. He likes to talk and talk and talk, but you don't, walk, so to speak. Gary, that was just hilarious listening to him describing basic obstruction and parallax and things like that earlier and sounding like a little kid. Can you believe it did that? Holy shit. Like he's just discovered it for the first time. Anyway, thanks for the show. Something good to listen to while I was making dinner and so on. And, happy thoughts going out for your dad for his surgery and so on.
Thank you very much. Okay, I appreciate it. Fred the Magnificent is fucking up the audio of everybody here.
I won't be long. Double rage quit. Way to go, mate. Result. Did that work?
Yeah, that worked. That's loud.
I'm gone.
Mute yourself, man. Thank you very much. Thanks again, okay. And yeah, Brian Peck, hey, I don't know, I kind of explained, as a layman, I don't know exactly what's going on. And hold on, that was a good comment. Talking about health in a channel that doesn't entertain health, double standards. Shout out to Hold On. John Rapp with another $2 Australian. Whoosh! The 5 scientists in your drawing. Oh, Lemon and Gary are not one of the 5. Thank you very much. Alim, final thoughts.
So simple. The Earth is a sphere. Boom.
Thank you. Brian Peck, final thoughts.
Yeah, anytime Lemon takes the time to personally insult you, you should wear that as a badge of honor, because that means you've really got to him and you've pinned him somewhere. So I'll wear that with honor. Viperous I am.
Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Brian Mabet Clone, you're coming late, but give us your final thoughts anyway.
My dinner was very nice. Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. Your dinner was nice.
Oh, I thought it stunned everybody. Yeah, there's no curvature, there's no spin. You don't live on what they've told you. Get into your heads. You're all brainwashed into believing complete fantasy. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Brian Mabet. You know how my frogs go? My frogs go, Mabet. Thank you, brother. Bro, Watson, final thoughts.
So not much for me. I think if I remember anything from this episode, it's Lemonbird lying and making shit up again. That's about it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support, John Watson. Big time, brother. Thank you. Brufus, final thoughts. How about you, Shaik? What you got?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of things like visual information cramming to eye level and processing of angles and what else did you say there? Visual information, dropping visual information in the eye that I never heard of. I'll have to look it up. It was entertaining show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I said I was going to do a short show. It's like over 3 hours long today, anyways. Yeah, the dinner is in the dinner is cooking, so I'm just might as well go after eating too. All right, we got Komar. You got final thoughts for us? Gary, final thoughts.
Just wanted to point out the usual stuff since Brian Mabbott came in with his usual stuff. But the light in our atmosphere bends downward because it is more dense below, stably at 20 feet AGL or more. There's no reason for anything in the distance to ever appear below our eye level if it's at our altitude, unless curvature is present. Optically, that's the only thing that makes sense. And mechanical gyro compasses cannot function on a stationary Earth, so the Earth is neither flat nor stationary, but it has curvature and is not stationary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Earth is life. Final thoughts? Well, thank you very much for your support. Earth is life. Always, always very appreciated. Farmer's boy.
Blah 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 blah. There you go. That's my impression of a flat earther. That's all I've heard today. Utter garbage. Very entertaining. Thank you very much.
Boom. Truth Nurse says. Hold on. Biggest Douglas says. Frogs go. Mobbit. Mobbit go. Derp. Thank you, Biggest. Grubus. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I haven't really been watching most of it. I've kind of been popping in and out, but yeah, it's been interesting. But yeah, I've kind of been following the whole Ukraine situation more than the flat Earth that I'm in it. So yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. Shout out to John Hansen, the man. Nice show, he says. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you have something to listen in the background, getting entertained. And holler at me, man. Join Discord and send me a direct message soon, man. If you got any topics and anything specific that you want me to talk about, holler at me, man. You got that power by being a troll god. Just like Left Bro Lane. Final thoughts?
Yeah, Jose, listening to Lemon and his thing, and I really try to follow his ideas. According to his argument, a 12-foot observer looking at across a flat surface 18 miles away, say, let's scribble out those 12 feet of the bottom half of our vision. But like B-Ball's images show, at 18 miles, there's like 100 feet of obstruction. So we scribbled out the 12 feet, but where's the other 88 feet that we can't see? And yeah, he has trouble explaining that. And I would also like to encourage all flat earthers to approach Nathan Oakley and request that he demonstrate the operation of a sextant and finding your location on a flat earth. Thanks, Jose.
Very good. Thank you very much. Very much. Big shout out to Man Devil that these shows keep him company from being awake from 2 a.m. with some weird side effects of whatever. The big B with the big B side effects. Thank you, brother. Mars Mushrooms, final thoughts.
Jose, great show as always. I'm 62. I've had 2 heart surgeries recently, and I'm doing good. Your family just need to stay positive, and we'll all be praying for them.
Thank you very much. I very appreciate that, man. That means a lot. And thank you, everybody, that wishing, sending their good, positive thoughts over there on the YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Yep. The Kitsune Cavalier, final thoughts.
Alrighty. Fortunately, I have this scripted. I remember when the conversation near the beginning of the show was about the one of the members of the panel riding a bus past the site of the Chernobyl disaster. The basic question brought up was whether or not the walls and windows protected the passengers, even though the Geiger counter inside the bus was picking up radiation. Yes, gamma radiation can penetrate a bus. However, alpha and beta particles cannot. The reason that's an important difference is because the difference between exposure and there's a difference between exposure and contamination. The passengers on the bus passing by Chernobyl get exposed by gamma radiation, but the bus keeps the alpha and beta particles from entering the bus and collecting on the clothes, skin, and etc. of the passengers. Thus, when they leave the area, they aren't taking the danger with them. I have heard somebody at Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant comparing it to walking into a barn that has manure on the floor. When you're in the barn, you smell the stink. That's exposure. How much stink you smell after leaving the barn is based on how much manure you have gotten on you after leaving there. That's contamination. And finally, best wishes to your dad, Jose. Boom.
Hey, real quick, that was me, Mark.
Boom.
From the bus. Where were you 20 years ago when I was on the bus? Getting worried. Thanks, though.
I was at the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant taking a tour as a BS in physics.
We gotta move on. Thank you very much. Good soon. I really appreciate it. Good times, and look at that. You actually took notes. What the hell? You mean business over here.
Trust me, if I don't write a script, I'm gonna ramble. And
That's
you don't
good. Good stuff. And lastly but not least, Stingray with the screen up. That's why I let him to the end. Stingray, final thoughts.
I want to read people a definition of duplicity. Contradictory doubleness of thought, speech, or action. The quality or state of being double or twofold. Or a technically incorrect use of two or more distinct terms, such as claims, charges, or defenses, and that's in a legal sense. But I just think that sums up flat earthers incredibly well. First of all, it's the lens. No, it's not the lens, it's the surface. No, it's not the surface, it's the lens. Stingray, your models don't work. Stingray, obviously your models work 100% because they're built from the maths of the globe. This should tell you a lot about what it means to be a flat earther. Cheers, Jose. Great show.
Cheers, the Stingray. Thank you so much. Look at that flip-flop in the house to say thank you very much, Stingray, and thank you all the panelists. Thank you everybody that watched on the YouTube land. Do not forget to leave a like, hit that bell notification icon, make sure it's on for when the boom is live. And I got a few uploads in the works, and I got a possible members only live stream coming in very soon. Check on that. Go, when the video is up and rendered on YouTube, leave us a comment in the comment section and let us know your thoughts. We are getting out of here. I wish you the best, everybody. Thank you for your support. Jose JG out. Boom. And my question to you is there any evidence for the flat earth? Thank you.